Chapter 181, Pet Contract. The Emperor Green Emperor seems to have seen countless lovely crystals flying with wings, and the firmness in his eyes is even stronger. It will not give up. We must grasp Yi Tianxing's dark history, big handles, want to beat him, torture him. Then, you can go to the top of your life, marry Bai Fumei, and countless lick and become the true emperor. After explaining something about Xuanwang Town, Yi Tianxing also got up and let it go. I walked towards the quiet room. Green Emperor saw, followed closely. Entered the quiet room, Yi Tianxing really entered the retreat, secretly polished the body's qi, and during the operation of the method, a stream of heaven and earth vitality swarmed like a tide. Promoted to the 5th point, the traction for the vitality of the heavens and the earth has become stronger, and the speed is faster than the previous 10 times, and the training speed of the air transport has increased by 9 times. It can be seen that a cyclone condensed entirely from heaven and earth's vital energy appears outside the body as it is. A large amount of heaven and earth vitality penetrated into the body like a tide. Along the meridians around the body, quickly gathered towards the Shanhai. This time, it is normal practice. The ancestral dragon that has been conceived naturally consumes the vitality of the heavens and the earth in the Shanhai, and is tempered into the breath of true dragons, and quickly penetrates into the Shanhai, condensing the true dragon's breath faster than before. In the meantime, there are several or even dozens of true energy condensed. Emerged into the Sea of God. Originally reduced to several layers of Shanhai because of the rapid quenching of Shengquan, it began to fill up again. Make up for the amount of qi that was previously lost. During this process, when a large amount of heaven and earth vitality poured into the body, he was constantly scrubbing and tempering his flesh and blood. The physical body is constantly nourished, and qi and blood become extremely active. The process of cultivation is also a kind of tempering for the physical body. It's really a retreat. The Emperor Green Emperor looked through the window, his eyes showed a strange color, it did not think that Yi Tianxing was really retreating. However, it will not give up, it will stay here. Time elapsed, and one night passed. Get up as usual during the day, in the courtyard, take out the war spear, and practice the set of broken jade spear law, time and again, although the mouth of the war spear is a strange treasure, but it is still being tempered, he has not decided yet. Do you want to use the war spear as your destiny? The most important thing is that he hasn't made a good choice yet, which weapon will be the main weapon in the future. The shattered jade spear method was unfolded in hand. After practicing the spear method, he began to practice the knife method. Regardless of the sword technique or spear technique, in terms of Yi Tianxing, the practice is very smooth, and it is very easy to understand both types of combat skills. Every time you cultivate, you will have new insights. The understanding of the knife technique has become deeper. After training, I also helped some in the town, and then entered the barracks to train with the army, practice together, and eat together. No matter what kind of training those soldiers do, he can complete it. Moreover, in the barracks, Yi Tianxing also constantly took out bows and arrows to link his own archery. Yi Tianxing also likes archery very much. The bow and arrow technique really kills the enemy from a distance of 1000 meters. In one shot, he is neat and clear. In the hands of a monk, he can kill the enemy thousands of miles away. Because of his congenital yin and yang eyes, his eyesight is very good, and he has excellent assistance in contacting archery. In his hands, he never let go. On this day, a lot of refugees entered Xuanwang Town and registered in the town, becoming people in Xuanwang Town. Unconsciously, I spent such a fulfilling day. At night, Yi Tianxing sat in the quiet room again. It's time to hit the 6th place of Shanhai. Shengquan is based on the dragon heavenly scripture, sacrifice. Gongfa is inherited in the same vein. The process of breakthrough should not be difficult. The key lies in the understanding of Gongfa. The perception of the concept map is the most important. Long Tu's insights. There should be no problems. Quote. Yi Yixing secretly thought in his mind. He has made a decision to complete Shengquan's first order practice completely tonight. For a while, my mind quickly began to think. 4C Ancestors Map. In a dragon grown, in Shanhai, you can suddenly see that a looming ancestor dragon directly entangled in the sky of Shanhai, emitting an invisible coercion. Vaguely, there must be some action. Brush. Suddenly, at this moment, a token flew directly in the space of Lingju. And, immediately after the emergence, a layer of strange divine light bloomed, and the entire token turned into a divine light. Among the divine light, a vortex-like channel emerged in the quiet room. Deep in the passage, the depth is extremely deep, and the end cannot be seen at a glance. Letting people see cannot help but give birth to a kind of fear. The world's first martial arts convention, this is how it began. The token changed, which completely wiped out Yi Tianxing's original idea of impacting Shanghai's 6th place. In this case, how to break through and how to cultivate, it is impossible to calm down. Moreover, the passage token has opened the channel. If you do not enter, no one knows whether the channel will disappear. There is an opportunity at any time to impact the 6th stage of Shanghai, but the martial arts conference must not be missed. Although it was not expected to be this time, things in the town have been explained. Even if they leave, in a short period of time, there will be no trouble. Xuanwang Town's Qian is one with me, and any changes can't hide my feelings. Go to the martial arts conference before talking. Quote. Ji Yishanxing ended the cultivation directly, without thinking about it, he immediately rose up. After taking a deep breath, he stepped firmly into the whirlpool. Yi Wang. At this moment, the window suddenly opened and a green light flashed, only to see that the emperor burst out at an alarming speed and rushed directly into the whirlpool. Be the first to dive into the vortex. Sure enough, the emperor knew that you could never retreat. It must be false. I was finally caught. The Green Emperor was excited, and the excited eyes were glowing green. After waiting for one night yesterday, there was no gain at all. It did not give up. It is still hidden in the dark today, observing silently. When I started training at Yi Tianxing, I thought I was going to be disappointed again. I didn't expect that the peaks would turn around, and a channel vortex appeared suddenly. Seeing this, the emperor was excited and wanted to pee. I jumped without hesitation. First plunge into the vortex to block the path of Yi Tianxing. Brush. But Yi Tianxing has already put one foot in. The tunnel seems to be able to distinguish the breath. When the Green Emperor approaches, it is directly like an invisible barrier, and it is blocked out at once and cannot enter the passage. Only one channel is recognized by Yi Tianxing. Oh, the Green Emperor made a scream, and this time it was thrown out. It used the strength of the whole body to be installed on it, just like hitting his head directly on a piece of granite. The collision was a sight of Venus on the spot. There was a blur in front of me. I am the Green Emperor who does not give up. The Green Emperor uttered a strange cry, flung his head, and bite forward. You crazy dog, are you crazy? Give me a sip. There was a sharp pain in Yi Tianxing's hand, and a finger was bitten by the Emperor. He didn't know how this guy's teeth grew. Even his refined body was bitten and his skin was bitten. A drop of blood came out of his fingers. The Green Emperor seemed to be iron-hearted, and he would not let it go. If you want to die yourself, then you can't blame me. Don't think that I can't help your weird bad luck. Your bad luck can affect other people. I'll see if you can affect your master. Use this trick for you. You just have to come together, don't pack you up, don't fly. Quote. Yi Yishanxing watched the Green Emperor die bitingly, and an icy face suddenly appeared. This evil dog is really teaching and reforming, it is rampant, and I really think there is no taboo for bad luck. I won't pack you up, how can I be the master of Xuanwang Town in the future? Everyone laughs to death. The light flashed in my hand. Ranran only saw a piece of parchment paper directly in his hands. She and me on this parchment, there are mysterious ancient magpies, and countless mysterious runes are constantly changing and distorting on the surface. Continuous flashes of contracts. Pet compact. First, after confessing the Lord, the spirit pet must be loyal to the master, not betray, and obey all commands of the master unconditionally. Second, the spirit pet must not harm the owner. Once the contract is signed, any attack by the pet cannot harm the owner. Third, obey all orders of the master. Fourth, the owner dies, the pet dies, and the pet dies. The owner does not need to pay any price. Fifth, eternal life must not be changed. The text above flashed very fast, www.novelhall.com, it was completed in an instant. This is a pet contract. After Yi Tianxing took it out, he bit his finger and a drop of blood dropped directly on the contract. Then, he unceremoniously grabbed one of the Emperor's paws, took out a war spear in his hand, and made a wound directly on the paw. Then, forcibly pressed the dog's paw against the contract. Brush. The two parties pressed their fingerprints, and the contract was established. In an instant, the contract turned into a divine light, divided into two, one penetrated into Yi Tianxing's body, and one penetrated into the Emperor's body. All of this happened very quickly. The time it took for the emperor to bite Yi Tianxing's finger to sign the contract was just 2 breaths away, and it ended quickly. That speed, the speed felt, in front of Yi Tianxing's powerful force, the Green Emperor did not even have a trace of resistance. Just forcibly sign the contract. Even the Green Emperor had forcibly signed the letter without seeing what was written on the contract. All actions are lightning fast. But with the completion of the contract, the Green Emperor also knew the content of the contract from the contract. Squinting, those 2 eyes suddenly became extremely angry and terrified. A loud scream was made on the spot. No, it's not fair. I don't want to sign a contract. My emperor is not willing. My emperor is an emperor among dogs. How can he become a pet? This contract is too unfair. To be continued. Chapter 182, Shang Yu. For subscription and recommendation, come with a few monthly tickets. Close black lens bracket. Come back, I'm not convinced. Boo Yao, no, I didn't want to sign the contract. This is compulsory. This is not what I want. The emperor will never approve it. It's terrible. The surname is easy. I want to kill you. The Green Emperor's eyes were full of anger, almost gushing out directly. Zongko was about to bite Yi Tianxing again. I can see pity. When it promised to sign a contract, this is obviously forced. Yi Tianxing grabbed its paw directly and pressed it on the contract. Does this count? Green Emperor wants to say, it is really too dark. Do you still have heavenly principles, and also Wang Fa? It really is a bad dog, but even if it is a bad dog, I will make you a loyal dog. If you are so stingy, then I will give you this strange treasure together. Yi Tianxing looked at the Green Emperor still with a vicious look. A golden light flashed in his hand, and a golden collar appeared in his hand. A dense golden rune emerged from that collar, shining with a mysterious light. Brush. After the golden collar appeared, he went straight to the Emperor. Xuan just happened to be rushing towards Yi Tianxing towards the Emperor. His gaze was the same as if he bumped his head toward the golden collar. Easily trap the Emperor, appear on the neck of the Emperor, the runes flash on it, the gold collar quickly shrinks and directly merges into the Emperor's flesh. It seemed as if a golden collar was worn around the neck. Damn it, the surname is changed. What have you done to the Emperor? The Emerald Emperor's eyes showed horror. Growled loudly. Good thing, you will love to cry. Yi Tianxing smiled slowly and said slowly. Amazing treasure, golden hoop. This is a strange treasure he caught while Wanbao was running out of space. This unique treasure has no legend in the gold hoop worn on the head of Qishan Dasheng, but it is only the lowest grade. It's only a yellow-tiered treasure, but it can absorb the blood, true energy, and mana from the host to continually grow and transform. How strong the host is, the golden hoop will also grow and transform. I will restrain my staying hostile once he grows to the highest level. It is also quite amazing and powerful. At the same time, the gold hoop is also a unique treasure that can be driven by the host to exert special abilities, such as the force of imprisonment. The only thing that couldn't be done was to take the gold hoop off of himself. Once was brought into the gold hoop, he would always be imprisoned by the owner of the gold hoop. I can no longer break free, unless Yi Tianxing is willing to take down the gold hoop. Otherwise, the Green Emperor will never want to take it off in his life. Boo Yao, no, take it away from the Emperor, I'm afraid. Green Emperor is about to cry. I used to have a contract on my body, but I didn't know how to cancel it. Now I have a golden hoop. It hasn't come alive on this day. It feels that the life of the dog Emperor seems to be dark. After doing this, Yi Tianxing and Lu Huang have stepped into the tunnel. It seems that after the Green Emperor signed a contract with Yi Tianxing, a strange connection had already developed in his body. That channel did not repel it anymore. Pet spirits are also part of the monk's strength and belong to the part that can be carried. If the surname is easy, quickly untie the contract. Little Green, you want to call the master. I will not give in. Countless ***** are still waiting for the Emperor's fortune. My beautiful life is still beckoning to me. No, why do I feel a large haze ahead? Why the **** is curiosity. Curiosity kills dogs. There was a scream of howling in the tunnel, and the channel appearing in the quiet room narrowed naturally. In a blink of an eye, it disappeared. I look very strange. At this moment, no one knows that Yi Tianxing has disappeared from Xuanwang town and left. Most people think he is in a deadlock. But some people feel it, even if they are skeptical, no one else does anything. In the Eternal Continent, a mysterious mystery. The mysterious realm is hidden in the eternal continent, attached to the eternal world, like the independent world, and in the eternal continent. Every mystery has something special. In the integration of all realms, unique regions evolved. Brush. Qi Yishanxing only felt a sudden turn of the sky, and suddenly saw a light in his eyes. His body appeared in an unfamiliar area instantly, and his body stood directly in the void. Presenting in front of him is a vast void. At first glance, he seemed to see no margin. In the very center of the void, there is a huge platform, and the platform does not know what it is made of. It does not see its own materials, but it looks very similar to jade, shining with light and countless runes. Blinking, shrouded in a strange halo. What is this place? Is this the place where the world's first martial arts conference is held? Where is the martial arts conference held on that platform? Yi Tianxing glanced around and quickly looked at that platform. This is a completely unfamiliar area. You can't see anything at all. You are standing in the void, and the bottom is covered by a layer of mist. There is no way to see through the congenital yin and yang eyes. What is on the ground is unknown. Obviously, there is no intention to let them see the situation on the ground. All I could see was that platform. But now the platforms are not open. Where is this? My emperor seems to be flying into the sky. The Green Emperor also blinked, looking around in wonder. The first martial arts conference in the world, I am Shang Yu. Lights flickered in the void, and a roar containing an astonishing domineering sounded in the void. I only saw one wearing a helmet and holding a tiger-headed dragon halberd. He was burly and had a height of 2 meters. What attracts people's attention is that double pupil. With twinkling light, the domineering stunned. As soon as it appeared in the void, the momentum passed out could suffocate the void. Overlord Shang Yu, born to Hitomi. Yi Tianxing heard the shout, looked at it, and there was a dip in his eyes. In Shang Yu's eyes, he saw a heavy pupil. There was a pupil in the pupil. This is not ordinary eyes. The heavy pupil has terrible magical power. This is a kind of congenital eye, which contains heavy pupil fate. Anyone who has a heavy pupil is a talent with extraordinary talents and powerful combat ability. In ancient times, this was a saintly appearance. Shang Yu's appearance and temperament almost appeared at first sight, and it was impressive. It was impossible to forget. The momentum is too amazing, the domineering is inherent. In front of him, he was born with the feeling of lowering his head, which is a domineering side leak. A pair of tiger eyes glanced coldly in the void. The breath on my body is obviously not what ordinary people can have. It really is not an ordinary person. He has already entered the ranks of monks. Shang Yu is a strong enemy. I did not expect that he also has a pass token. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and groaned secretly. This world first martial arts conference is not to invite the strong in the entire eternal continent to participate, but to directly use the pass token as the standard. With the token in hand, you can participate. Even if you don't have any modification, you can also participate. Without a token, even if you are the best player in the world, you cannot participate. This is the only criterion. The threshold of entry. But getting it is itself a symbol of luck and strength. This is the first session, and it is in a troubled world. It has not received sufficient attention. Once it is valued, after several sessions, it will definitely cause intense competition and even cause countless **** storms. But it is also the first one, the most strange one. There is no precedent to follow. Children Liu Bang, you are here too. This time, the king wants to send you back to the west yourself. I think you can't bear it if you look different, even if it turns to ashes. I recognize you. Shang Yu suddenly yelled. A pair of eyes stared directly at a young man wearing a robe, and a breath of suffocation in the emperor's breath, with anger in his eyes. Shang Yu is now in the new world and is a new life opened on the eternal continent. The previous things have ended in the old world. There is no need to bring it to the current world. We should work together to be a human race to survive and work together. Quote. Liu Bang saw Shang Yu. Shang Yu's appearance also changed, but that kind of atmosphere, that familiarity, also let him know who he is the first time. At the same time, when my heart was bitter, I immediately turned my face upright and said righteously. Well, Liu Banger, you are just a mean man, and dare to speak wildly in front of Shang Mo. Others don't know you. www.novelhall.com, how can Shang Mo not know? How can you kill me without killing you? Hate. Quote. Shang Yu was not shaken by words, watching Liu Bang coldly with a sneer. However, there was no immediate action. When entering here, there is an invisible force filling the sky and earth, and a force that cannot be used. Obviously, it is forbidden to kill. There is no way to kill, at least until the beginning of the martial arts conference. Not only Shang Yu, Liu Bang, but one after another in the void. Gives a different breath, all kinds of looks, all have their own temperament. Almost all monks, standing in the void one by one, constantly glanced around, their eyes were shocked. After all, today's world can see so many humans all at once, and they are still monks. Chances are the first time. A lot of people are shocked at the same time, they can't help but have various ideas. In the case of inconvenient communication, many people can feel a sigh of relief when they can see the existence of so many people with their own eyes, knowing that on the eternal continent, humans are not the only area in which they are located. I was just scattered and unable to communicate. Now, with this secret situation, the opportunity of this martial arts conference may have a rare exchange. The lights flickered one after another, and more figures gathered in the void. Every face showed vigilance. No one dares to take it lightly. This is a martial arts conference, not a tea party. To be continued. Chapter 183, Handsome Chic Black. Why so many people? Where exactly is this? Where is this emperor? The Emperor Green stared at both eyes, and quickly glanced around, watching the human beings appearing one after another. Their mouths widened involuntarily, and some of them couldn't figure out exactly what was happening and what happened. How could so many people suddenly appear? Sure enough, the eternal continent has gathered countless arrogances under the integration of all realms. However, it seems that the people in Shanshan have not come. Maybe they have come, but the state of cultivation is obviously not very high. It seems they are all within the level of Shanghai. Is this a martial arts meeting between the worldly peoples on the eternal continent? Quote, not only is there not those top powerhouses, it may even be said that the top powerhouses have not yet broken through. Even imprisoned, even some of the strong in the world, are transforming their own cultivation system into an eternal continent's cultivation system. You know, there are differences in the practice system in many worlds, but today the most orthodox practice is to open up the Sea of God. Of course, it is not difficult to transform with the powerful practices of the powerful in those worlds. With the integration of all realms and the transformation of the heavens, any monk, any power, has the effect of transforming the practice of the practice, just like those rivers and lakes. Like a master, the original chi cultivation in the body will be condensed into a real Dan. There is huge energy, coupled with the original state. It is absolutely amazing to rebuild. Fengxian Mountain Shanman function may not be a good thing for those Zongmen. Moreover, there are reasons for passing tokens. The people who came were almost all people in the eternal continent. Everyone who comes here is a human. Does this martial arts conference have restrictions on the race and identity of entrants? Yi Tianxing also noticed that what appeared were human figures and no other races. People, this seems a little weird. The protagonist of the heaven and earth on the eternal continent is not human, and the human race is not inherently superior. Impossible tokens can only be obtained by human races, but not by other races. This is obviously impossible. The race in the eternal continent is more than 10 million. Alas, the mystery contained in this is obviously not what Yi Tianxing can detect now. After frowning slightly, I put it aside for a while, and if I had a chance, I would know it later. There are Westerners. Suddenly, Yi Tianxing's pupils were slightly frozen. Look at the area opposite. He only saw that in that area, the light was flashing, and a series of figures appeared one after another. I can see that there are men with blonde hair, wearing armor and holding huge swords, men and women wearing exquisite robes and holding wands in their hands. Vaguely, a strange machine is passed on. Young in appearance, there is a huge difference from the appearance of black hair and black eyes, and the difference can be felt at a glance. This is the difference of race. You can tell at a glance that it is a foreign race. In the eyes of the Washa people, that is the barbaric indigenous, alien. I haven't heard news about Westerners before. I didn't expect to see them here. Sure enough, it would be impossible to exclude Westerners from the integration of the worlds. It was just that for some reason, they could not get their information. To a certain extent, it should be self-confidence and isolation. Even, Yi Tianxing suspects that it is possible that the East and the West are in different regions. Even the East and the West are distinguished. But here, you can see obvious Western characteristics. Different hair colors, different skin tones, different eye pupils. The difference in face appearance is quite obvious. But obviously, Westerners are also among the human race. Looking closely, those Western monks also exude a breath belonging to monks. However, the methods they practice are different. They all seem to open up the Shanhai. But in the Shanhai, what they store is not the true qi, but other the power of. It's interesting, it seems to be about the same as the mental strength, and the breath in those soldiers is extremely violent, far from the true temperature. Yi Yishan frowned slightly, feeling secretly thoughtful. Shi Feng the Western monks obviously also saw the Eastern vein, and their eyes were full of surprise. Immediately, their expressions were filled with vigilance. Obviously, the cues on both sides are clear. Seeing a large number of Eastern monks appear, it is strange that the West does not hold groups. Time passed quietly. Not many people are interested in speaking, looking at the surrounding scenes, watching the changes around them. Unconsciously, a large number of monks have gathered in the void. Oh, who is that? Yi Tianxing suddenly saw a flash of light, and a figure wearing a big red robe stood directly in the void. This red robe was very conspicuous, but he still couldn't cover his wonderful figure. His body was full, his chest was plump, and he exuded invisible charm. If you look at it, you can see a glorious face, a cool face, a little scarlet between the eyebrows, and a little heroic. As soon as Xuan appeared, he was full of grace. Even if many arrogances gathered, there was no way to hide it. Big red robe, enchanting face, no, it's her. A figure emerged in the head of Yi Xingxing, and his face couldn't help showing strangeness. I could not help thinking, whether it was male or female. Whether it is female or male. Baby can't do it. I don't know how long it has been in the past, there are a lot of monks in the void. It seems that there are as many as tens of thousands. Brush. The light of God in the void never appeared again. It seemed to have ended completely and no new personnel appeared. I stood on the huge platform in the void, and the light flashed, and a huge long magpie fluttered in the wind, with a few big characters engraved on it: the First World Budo Convention. At the same time, two figures appeared silently on the platform. Look carefully, it is two huge eggs, and also has long legs, hands and feet, but the slenderness of the hands and feet, the proportion of the body, looks extremely dull. On the egg, there are eyebrows, eyes, and mouths. It looks very strange, but it does not make people feel fear, but there is a favorite element. Black, or a dark blue big egg, with a black top hat on his head, and a black cloak on his back, a cool handsome look. The big white egg is cute and cute. As soon as the two big eggs appeared, immediately many monks standing in the void showed strange colors on their faces, and a pair of eyes condensed on the two eggs at the same time. Seeing Yi Tianxing, he almost did not spit out blood. These two things even appeared on the platform. Isn't this a character in the cartoon? How would it appear here? Brothers and sisters. The big white egg suddenly took out a microphone and said. No, you're wrong, you should be called Daoyu. The egg slaps on the big white egg and yells. Master, don't touch my head, otherwise my brother will draw a circle to curse you. The big white egg protested. Dear friends, I am your cutest friend, Sheik brother, cheer for the arrival of Sheik brother. The big white egg yelled. I will be the perfect object of jealousy in your heart, Mr. Black, I am so handsome. Jealous of me, please boo me. The egg also issued a cool shout. Cheerful brother, Black Master. What are these two eggs? A monk looked around the monk's face. If I hadn't experienced the baptism of many beasts and monsters, when I saw the two big eggs talking, they would directly kill them. He twitched his lips one by one, but didn't say much, and now they can't get on that platform at all. I believe everyone will remember the two of us thoroughly. Xiaosha brother said loudly with a smile. This time we were ordered to let the two of us preside over the First World Martial Arts Conference. He and I will preside over this competition for everyone. Quote. This game, no insurance, no rules, no prizes. Absolutely no contest. He Shuai shook his head and said. Of course, this is impossible. We are a regular, and most precious contest with insurance, rules, and prizes. In a contest, once we die, we will be sent out of the mystery just before death. There is a price for death, and the specific price paid depends on your luck. www.novelhall.com, Xiaosha brother said with a smile. This time, it is the First World Martial Arts Conference. He Shuai said coolly. The theme of this competition is, Run. Xiaosha shouted loudly. This competition is a race. There are no regular races. All Taoists participating in the race must first have a mount. If there are no mounts, get out of the game. Hai Shuai said coldly. Of course, I know that many people don't have a mount, so the organizer of the First World Martial Arts Convention deliberately provides everyone with an extra benefit. Xiaosha brother said with a smile, here is a secret place. A large number of fierce beasts, spirit beasts, everyone can go down to get their own mounts. The martial arts conference prepared a pet contract for everyone. Everyone can go below to find their favorite spirit beast mounts. Sign a contract. After signing a mount, you can participate in this session of martial arts conference. This is the first session. It is a benefit for everyone. If you miss this time, you will not have a chance. Quote. A good mount will multiply your fighting power. In the competition, you will get more with less. He Shuai said. This martial arts conference has an eternal continent and the best treasures. As long as you have the ability, plus a little luck, a large number of prizes can be brought home. The prizes of the first martial arts conference in the world, you deserve it. Quote. Tong Xiaosha shook his head, and said with a chic face. To be continued. Chapter 184, Lake. The areas where you land in the mystery, the fierce beasts and spirits in them, will belong to the level of the Sea of God. Of course, if you can take them away, can you contract them, it depends on your own strength, and you may contract when it comes to the mount. It is also possible to be eaten. God, Lai Xiao, said too. The dark black cool handsome said. The contract mount will be the first level of this martial arts competition. The goal of this level is the contract mount. In the process, there are no rules. You can use any means, whether you are poisoning or selling cute, as long as you can. The contract to the mount is victory. You can fight each other, death is elimination. One day, alive, and have a mount, you will get the opportunity to enter the second stage, the official competition. Without a mount, even if alive, will be eliminated. The game is so cruel. Xiaosha brother laughed. Of course, we are the most formal competition, not only with prizes, but also the audience. The audience will be the eternal Big Six and various top powers. Because the immortal gate of Shanshan is sealed, the power will not be born and will not be able to participate in the world first the martial arts convention, so, this time giving special benefits, they will become the audience of this competition. Your every move will be presented in front of all powers. Maybe there is power to be optimistic about you, so go ahead and go kill, grab, kill yourself happily. Quote. The swarthy marshal shouted, go, this is the first martial arts convention, and you will become history, remembered by the entire eternal Big Six. Leave traces that cannot be erased. Remember that you only have one day to get a mount. Hurry up, once if you miss it, there will be no more opportunities. Quote. Brother Chia announced loudly, the game is starting. The words of chanting fell, and a mysterious power suddenly appeared. He followed closely. Yi Tianxing felt that his body was suddenly and uncontrollably pulled by a force, violently pulling down. It's like parachuting directly from high altitude. Began to fall to the ground, and more quickly. Falconing in the void, most monks are currently stranded in the air, and even have the ability to fly in the air. This fall, one's face changed greatly. Everyone knows that even if they are smashed from a height, they may be directly injured. If it is too high, it may even be smashed into meat. Almost from the beginning, everyone was put in a deadly threat. No, why, Mr. Black, handsome brother, I am your admirer, can you give me a parachute? I don't want to be killed. There was a scream of howling in the void echoing. Hey, there are those who depend on the sky. When Yi Yixing heard the howl, he could not help but know that Black is handsome. He would not say, but he would also say that he would parachute. This is not a family member, he would not know. In a word, 70% or 80% of the person who has made the person a heavenly dependent may have been. Alas, I didn't feel strange anymore. Fortunately, as long as they are not two idiots, in the beginning, in general, they will not die, even if they have a good fortune. In this case, they can get a pass and enter the world's first martial arts conference. Not surprising. What he should consider is how many of these heavenly relatives have entered this martial arts convention. Can't control this, let me control myself first, this time maybe I can contract a better mount. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. The surname is Yi. Master, save the emperor quickly. The emperor will be the first dog emperor who fell to death from the sky. I don't want it. The green emperor screamed, four claws waving, followed like paddling, it looks very funny. This advice. Seeing Yi Tianxing, he frowned slightly, and stretched out his hand toward Green Emperor, but now he can only reach Green Emperor's tail. Haha, my Green Emperor did not die so easily. The tail was caught, and the Emperor's expression of panic immediately became proud. But immediately shrouded in a layer of fear, exclaimed, "Master, don't let go. I am your most loyal dog, the Emperor Green King. I will be loyal, and you will bite whoever you say, you it must be east, west." Quote. I can't wait for it to finish, the Green Emperor has already thrown it out. Hands, slipped. Yi Yixing looked at the falling Green Emperor and closed his hands. Except for the 4 feet on the Emperor's body, there was no hair on the whole body, and it was the same on the tail. After grabbing the upper body, the Emperor was scared with cold sweat and appeared on the body. When he was caught, he slipped. I couldn't hold it at all. I really slipped my hands. These are born between electric light flint. The scorpion body quickly fell, and fell into the layer of fog at once. The layer of fog seemed to be just a barrier. After passing through it, I immediately saw that below was a large mountain range of mountains and forests. It seemed that the margins could not be seen at a glance. People can't help but have small thoughts. He is like a complete world. I'm going to smash it down, this time it's over. No, bring it up for me. Never hit a stone, otherwise, it's really over. The monks who fell from high altitudes continued one after another. When they were about to fall to the ground, they all showed their own means. No one knows how. Yi Tianxing has fallen directly into the forest. Good luck, there is a lake. As soon as Yi Tianxing was preparing to show his means, he wanted to take out a robe and use it as a sail to reduce his own resistance. Even when he was gliding in the air, he suddenly saw the light emitted from the bottom. Below him, there is a lake. I was so happy in my heart that all my previous plans were to give up. Below is a lake. This is simply the best luck. It really doesn't cause any damage if it falls into the lake. It's better than falling to the ground. It is an excellent landing place. Alas, the Green Emperor didn't know where to fly in the air. The evil dog must not die, so I don't know what troubles will happen. Fortunately, this is a game field, even if the trouble is too big, it's nothing. A thought emerged in Yi Yixing's mind. Immediately, the whole body fell into the lake at once. Boom! There was a roar, and as Yi Tianxing fell into the water, a large splash of water burst in the lake, and a wave of water splashed out to the surroundings. It was like suddenly dropping a lot of explosives in the water. The kind of impact force falling from the high altitude to the water surface is, seriously speaking, much more than the ground, especially at the beginning. There is no difference between the water surface and the iron plate. Even if an ordinary person falls into the water, they will be seriously injured on the spot. The 5 internal organs will be dislocated. The salamander fell into the water, and the clear lake water can directly see the various fishes swimming in the water, and a large number of aquariums. As if frightened, fleeing all around, chaos. Many fishes are fishes that Yi Tianxing cannot name. Wow, he didn't stay underwater, and with a thought, he floated up to the water. The body broke out of the water. Boom! Alas, when Yi Tianxing just got out of the water, a loud noise almost followed. Even Yi Tianxing saw only one figure falling from the sky, hitting the water and falling into the water. Suddenly, Yi Tianxing seemed to see that the figure seemed to be a woman. Boo-how, not good. Immediately, a thought came to mind, and as soon as the body moved, it was necessary to swim towards the shore. But before he took any action, he saw that there was a splash of water on the water surface. With the sound of water breaking, a beautiful face appeared in front of him. The face was enchanting in the cold, and the palace was flooded by the lake. Wet, tightly clinging to it, sketching a graceful body, the towering twin peaks are full like a moon, shaking and thrilling. In the water, looming, you can almost see the white snow. The invisible charm is even more unstoppable. Even if Yi Tianxing saw it, he couldn't help but become dry and scorching, and there was a rush of heat in his eyes. During this time, he has been busy building a village to fight against beasts and monsters. Attitude, did not eat it hastily. As long as the opportunity comes, naturally it will come to pass, but in danger, it will continue to fight. Ji-Lei accumulation in the body is more intense than normal. Shu usually can bear it, but now she suddenly saw a beautiful woman falling into the water, and she also showed such a seductive picture. The flame in my heart began to burn almost unbearably. This temptation is really too strong. No, you must leave quickly, or something will definitely happen. Although Yi Yixing was reluctant, he still looked away, and a thought emerged in his mind, and he must not stay. www.novelhall.com, Otherwise, something serious will happen, which is not a joke. It is already a great perseverance to be able to control and not turn into a beast. When he stayed, he didn't know if he would lose control and be occupied. What's more, he knew that in ancient times, women attached great importance to their own festivals. When they fell into the water and wore clothes, they were seen by a man, no matter which woman they were. It is impossible to remain indifferent. Staying is definitely not a good thing. With great perseverance, he slowly moved his head away, but before he moved away, he couldn't help but glance at it again. The perfection was truly irresistible. The temptation is really too great. Dentist, even if you look at the body of this palace, then don't want to live any longer. The woman had apparently reacted, and her heart was surprised and angry. Before falling, she clearly saw that there was no one on the lake, but she did not expect that a strange man would suddenly pop up, and she looked at her body completely light. The lake is so clear that even the body underwater can be clearly seen in front of the eyes. To be continued. Chapter 185, Invite the Moon. For subscription recommendation, 2 for tickets. In this case, what's the difference from standing in front of a man without clothes? A kind of shame, anger, and even a strong killing thought came to mind completely, and the man in front of him was sentenced to death almost immediately. How can a man who has seen his body survive? This man must die and be ashamed. Dead. The cold, glamorous woman spit out a voice coldly, her hand waving in front of her. Brush. A piece of water splashed up under the palm, the lake turned into a transparent water knife, filled with infuriating air, and burst into the air. Under the blade, a tearing sound of chi-chi was made. The trajectories swept directly towards Yi Tianxing. It seemed that they were just waving at any time, but those water jets directly blocked each inch of the area and did not give any chance to dodge. Although it is only formed by the condensation of the lake, the sharp edge in the knife is comparable to the magic weapon. Cut gold and jade, but just casually. It's ruthless. Just a glance, you don't have to kill the killer directly. Ji Yishanxing felt the killing intention erupted from the woman, her face suddenly became cold, her brows frowned slightly, and she flatly rebuked. Looking at the water jet sweeping in front of him. Also waved at the lake in front. A drop of lake water condensed directly into a single battle arrow, not many, and a lot of them going towards those water jet holes. Ding 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 ding. The sword and arrow collided, and instantly exploded over the lake surface, directly collapsing into small drops of water, and quickly falling continuously around. No water jet can appear in front of Yi Tianxing. Kanla, looking at my body, I have to die. The woman's face was cold and she didn't want to think about it, and shot it again with one palm. Brush. At this palm, I only saw that the lake was surging, and a wave of water rolled up, turning it into a gorgeous flower, in all kinds of postures, and even smelling bursts of flowers in the air. With a single palm, all flowers bloom. Amazing beauty makes people feel refreshed. Ban these petals seem to be directly driven by a breeze, sweeping towards Yi Tianxing. Those flowers look so soft. Large lakes are covered with flowers. It's like being in the ocean of flowers. The world of flowers. Okay. Seeing Yi Tianxing, his face changed slightly, and a sound of exclamation sounded in his mouth. This palm method can gather hundreds of flowers, which is almost equivalent to reaching the level of martial arts. Moreover, these flowers look delicate, but they are definitely not as simple as they appear. Yi Yixing did not flinch. Stretched out his hand, he drew a hand in the lake water in front of him and drew a circle. Infused with true qi, this circle spun naturally and turned into a taiji cyclone. Taiji qi swirled and directly swept the petals that swept around. But the petals are also weird and seem to be weak, but when they encounter taiji cyclone, they are drawing the true energy contained in taiji cyclone. However, the taiji cyclone itself is a whole. Taiji is born of yin and yang, symbolizing completeness. It also has the ability to absorb the outside air. The two collided together, and it came into contact with water, but one was toilet water and the other was pure water. When it is impossible to suppress the opponent, there is no way to separate the victory and defeat, but at this moment, the true dragon spirit contained in the taiji cyclone has caused the taiji cyclone to spin wildly. The circle makes the taiji cyclone rotate continuously, and flowers are constantly being drawn into the taiji cyclone. You said I had to die when I saw your body, then I really took a look at it. Yi Yixing also gave birth to anger. As soon as Shin thought, her body broke away towards the woman. With this movement, the speed was extremely fast, and, with the vitality urging, the body rushed towards the woman like a swimming fish. Look for death. The coldness on the woman's face almost completely frozen the lake. She was completely frozen, and when she saw that Yi Tianxing dared to rush towards her, the words seemed to be intended to misbehave against her and intended to be blasphemy. The intention of killing in the heart is more intense. The cold light flickered in Yan's eyes, and suddenly, between the eyebrows, a trace of the lingering moon appeared, shining with light. Yin and Yang lock. Ji Yishanxing didn't hesitate and uttered a voice. Suddenly, the 9 yin and yang locks emerged like a puppet, plunged into the lake, and quickly hidden away, appearing in front of the woman, twining like a snake. The distance between the two was too close. 9 yin and yang locks swept over. There was no room for dodging at all. One tied to the body, one tied to both hands, and one tied to both feet. Other yin and yang locks are entwined. At once, the woman was bound like a sister-in-law, and the soul impact transmitted in the yin and yang locks was dissipated. The stigma of the moon that appeared between the eyebrows was dissipated directly, and the tying was even more prominent, temptation, bursting into the table instantly. At the same time, Yi Tianxing swooped in the past, grabbed Lu Yao's waist with one hand, and hugged the perfect body directly in his arms. He naturally climbed to the 2 mountains with one hand, and a tenderness and fullness came from his hand. Strong elasticity, can't hold it with one hand at all. With 2 actions, the Zhao body in her arms was stiffened first, and then became soft, as if the strength of the whole body disappeared without a trace at this instant. As soon as I lowered my head, my mouth was printed on the dull jade lips, and my tongue explored like a snake. He continued to swim back and forth on Zhao's body with both hands, even pulling away his clothes and reaching out to catch the fullness. The feeling of skin touching makes people seem to tremble, and an electric shock resounds in the heart. Just a few breaths, the whole body has been touched by Yi Tianxing. Alas, Yi Tianxing did not continue. I took a deep look at the woman in my arms, then quickly let go, and quickly swam to the shore. After landing, my body moved and quickly disappeared into the mountain forest. This is a long story, but it just ends in a short while. The yin and yang locks tied to the woman's body have long disappeared. A series of actions did not give her any chance to respond at all. She was completely covered during the whole process. Especially in the arms of Yi Tianxing, wantonly frivolity and even privacy were attacked, and an indescribable feeling even appeared in the body. The whole body seemed to disappear suddenly. Only when Yi Tianxing disappeared completely did he really recover. Looking at the messy palace dress on her body, even Yufeng on her chest showed a white, and there were 2 blue scratches on it. The woman's face was blue, white, angry, cold, unexplainable. Emotions come together, but all turn into an endless anger. There was almost a fire coming out of my eyes, and it was cold to keep the whole earth frozen. Don't let me know who you are. I won't let you go. In a word, like jumping out from the gap between the teeth, the killing intention in the woman's eyes was almost unstoppable, and she looked coldly in the direction that Yi Tianxing left. How dare to take advantage of my invitation to the moon, being so thin and blaspheming this palace, how dare to defile this palace's body? How can I dispel the hatred of my heart if you don't frustrate your ashes? I won't escape you, let go of you. Quote. This woman is an invitation to the moon. Yu walked out of the water, her messy palace costume was reorganized, and when she walked to the shore, the already soaked palace costume had begun to emit white gas, and in a blink of an eye, all the water vapor had been completely enraged. Dry and dry your clothes thoroughly. There are no traces. But Zhao Yu's face was cold and without a trace of expression. I have already given birth to endless killing in my heart. In this world, dare to find someone who invites me cheap, and no one has a good end. Took advantage, and turned and ran. Do you really think my advantage is so easy to take? I invite Yu's body, so easy to touch. There was a feeling of hatred, and my heart came into my heart. Women are a terrible species. Once they are attracted by women, that is definitely the most terrible thing in the world. They can work out secrets day and night. They can do anything terrible for hatred. Even something you dare not think about. They can do it too. They can pay a lifetime for this hatred. Shishan Forest. Yi Tianxing quickly entered. There was also a strange look on my face. www.novelhall.com. I shook my head and groaned secretly, it is too sloppy. It seems that my willpower needs to be strengthened. How can I not control it and make such a move? Quote. Fortunately, it has not continued, otherwise, it will really get out of control. In that case, it will be really difficult to say what the consequences will be. There was a secret thought in my heart. Although she was at the cliff in the end, she still couldn't help laughing. The previous behavior was not different from a defiled body for a woman. Moreover, from the point of view of the woman's temperament, it was obviously not good. It's still happening now. There is no ghost until you hate yourself completely. There will definitely be big trouble in the future. In fact, it is no wonder that his will is too weak. It is the temptation to invite the moon in the water, which is too horrible. In that case, it is almost instinct to jump on it. If you still remember that this is the first martial arts conference and, according to the handsome brother, Mr. Heishui said that in this secret realm, there is a great power as an audience, he doesn't want to perform a spring palace show on the spot. This is the cliff. I forcibly pressed the hold of my heart, turned around and rushed into the forest. I didn't even dare to look back. I was afraid that I would get out of control again, then I really see and clean it up. Sui ran. Although I don't know who she is, I'm sure it will be a big trouble in the future. Ji Yi shook his head, took a deep breath, calmed the rolling blood in his heart, suppressed all the thoughts in his mind, and set aside this matter for the time being. The most important thing now is to find a mount. To be continued. Chapter 186, Magic and Fight. For subscription recommendation, support genuine Tenchu novel. I don't know what kind of mount can be found here. I hope the potential will not be too low, otherwise, I'm afraid it will be difficult to keep up with me in the future. Yi Tianxing secretly thought in his mind while moving through the mountains and forests. Mounts are the #1 priority now before every monk. The theme of this first martial arts conference is racing. Compared to mounts, at least the mount is the most important part. Once there is no mount, the qualification for participation will be cancelled and eliminated. In a day, what kind of mounts can be found, what fierce beasts can be encountered, and it is entirely up to you to see your luck. A day is too short. It's possible that at the end of the day, you can't even touch a suitable mount. So now, every minute and every second is very precious. As he shuttled, the light flashed in his hand, and the spear of war had been held in his hand. At the moment he held it, the spear had pierced like lightning. A sharp weapon broke the sound of tearing flesh, only to see that a grey poisonous snake with thick adult thighs was pierced by a spear 7 inches. Seeing the movement of the snake, in the air, it also culled, with his mouth open to bite, the sharp fangs flashed cold. Silently, once bitten, it is definitely not a good thing. But it was greeted with an unceremonious blow. The fat snake looks very poisonous. The more poisonous the snake, the more delicious it is. It is a good thing. It must be delicious when kept as a snake. Yi Tianxing saw the poisonous snake that was pierced 7 inches and died instantly, nodded secretly, tasting in my heart. This is a good thing. Without hesitation, as soon as your mind moves, it is put into the space of spirit beads. Waiting to become a snakehead. Turns into food. At the moment of killing the poisonous snake, behind a big tree, suddenly a huge rabbit jumped out. The rabbit's blue eyes looked at Yi Tianxing, and an ice arrow was sprayed out of his mouth. Come over. The ice arrow broke, and the temperature in the air dropped suddenly. Kill. Suddenly in front of Bingjan, 2 spears appeared suddenly, like 2 real war spears. Smashing jade spear method. White jade flawlessly shines in Kyushu. 9 spears were not transfigured, just 2 simple spears, one directly hit the ice arrow, and the other passed through like a streamer. The rabbit was forcibly penetrated by the rabbit. The rabbit was nailed to the ground. The battle spear penetrated directly from his head, and he was chopped before he could scream. Wild rabbits can also emit ice arrows, and their strength is comparable to that of Shanghai realm. This is the devil rabbit and the fierce beast. The wild rabbit is already very delicious. This kind of magical fierce rabbit contains the power of heaven and earth. It must be more delicious. Good ingredients. Quote. Wu Yishanxing looked at the corpse of the rabbit nailed to the ground, and nodded slightly, and the spear that had afflicted with anger had disappeared. With a wave of his hand, the corpse of the rabbit was taken away and stored in the space of spirit beads. Good things, don't waste it, eat it, and increase strength. Facts have proved that in this mountain forest, it is definitely not a place of kindness, there is almost a crisis step by step, and danger is everywhere. Various beasts all show their ferocious nature, and constantly attack from the dark. It's a pity that these fierce beasts are not strong. Every time as soon as the killing power is revealed, Yi Tianxing can feel induction in his heart, and the war spear in his hand will be blasted out as soon as possible. There is no unnecessary action, every shot is an instant spike and killed in one hit. I took my shots cleanly without any hesitation. Every time a war spear is swung, it will be swung to the extreme. Even if the beast is constantly attacking, Yi Tianxing, in a black robe, has a sense of walking in all kinds of dangers. With his strength, some ordinary beasts now have no way to threaten him too much. Exquisite spears, powerful physical strength, huge vitality, and trinity, showing destructive power, is a one-shot kill. Leap Sekal, spike, spike again. In the jungle, two pairs of eyes were watching the figure of Yi Tianxing coldly. Looking at Yi Tianxing's killing of a beast, his eyes showed cold killing. Gru, this Eastern monk is very powerful, he is decisive and takes a shot, and even if he does not use fighting skills, he can kill a beast with great strength. In the dark, I can see that a young man wearing a grey robe with a long golden hair and a staff in his hand looked at Yi Tianxing with a frown, and his eyes were jealous. Yoris, because this person is very strong, it is worth hunting down. Such an oriental powerhouse, if it has the opportunity to hunt and eliminate before the official game, will definitely be of great benefit to us. At least one strong opponent. This time obviously means the competition between East and West. Moreover, he must have a pet contract on him, and he can get a contract, maybe he can sign an extra beast mount. He must also have other treasures. A burly man with obvious Western faces and a long brown man with a ferocious face. The name of the man was Gru. Carrying a large sword on his back. The muscles in the body are sloppy and have a strong impact on people. Well, it can be done, although it has risks, but it also has strong benefits. At least that pet contract will not lose money. You are a warrior, waiting for the opportunity to entangle that person, and I will kill it by magic from the side. After a few flashes of light in Yossi's eyes, he immediately made a decision. According to the two eggs, in the game, even if it is dead, it will not really fall, but it will be separated from the mysterious moment at the moment of death and injury. Since there is no danger of falling, there is nothing dare to do. The opponent is an Oriental monk. In this regard, he has long wanted to personally teach. In the past, when I saw those Eastern monks, I could obviously feel a powerful threat, and it seemed that the power in the Eastern monks was a little different. In fact, in the Eternal Big Six, there is no difference between the realm of the East and the West. It all starts with the Shanhai realm. However, there is a gap in itself. Although opened up all Shanhai, the power contained in Shanhai is different. It is like Confucianism and Taoism. It opens up Shanhai, and it can be said to be a sea of learning. It gathers awesome righteousness. It can not only absorb the vitality of the heavens and the earth, but also absorb the talents, the will of the people, and so on. 4. Shifang. The Western cultivation system is roughly divided into magic and vindictiveness. Although all start from Shanhai. However, the magician condenses strong spiritual power with meditation, and opens up the sea of spirit with spiritual power. Finally, he merges the spiritual power with the vitality of the heavens and earth, condenses the unique magic power, and integrates into the Shanhai. Therefore, in the eyes of the magician, Shanhai also called the magic sea. It is because of the magic power of the fusion of spiritual power and heaven and earth vitality. Let these magicians have a unique ability, which is to be able to temporarily condense the magic runes in the Sea of God in the body through mental construction by observing the magic structure map. Can be stored in Shanhai for a period of time under the warmth of magic. This is the magic model of magic. That spell model is actually very similar to the construction of life knowledge, but it lacks construction materials and cannot build life knowledge. But this spell model is only temporary, the magic can be saved, and it can only be saved for one day. Whether you use it or not, those spell models will collapse and disappear into the invisible after a day. Therefore, in the magician, every day you need to rethink and record your own spells. In addition, the amount of magic contained in Shanhai, the level of its own realm, also affects the number of spell models of its own performance record, has been ranked high and low. The higher the revision, the more magic is recorded naturally. Those magicians did not open up the theory of life and tactics. Once they reached the life and tactics state, they would condense a permanent spell model directly in the Sea of God. No more crashes and can be used as you wish. But in terms of power, there is a gap compared to the real-life trick. The only advantage is that the spiritual power is used to replace the heavenly treasures of life and knowledge, and is not restricted by the heavenly treasures. But there is no strong potential for life. How to compare it, but it needs real killing to distinguish. Moreover, a magician can perform a variety of magic in the Shanhai realm, but the quantity and destructive power vary from person to person. Compared with the Eastern monks, it is necessary to awaken the destiny in the body to be able to perform magical magic, which has a certain advantage. Let's talk about Western fighters. Shu is a vindictive spirit, it is also to absorb the vitality of the world and open up the sea of God. It is also the Shanhai realm, but instead of taking the 12 serious, odd scriptures and 8 veins, it gathers the fighting cyclone in the Shanhai. One fighting cyclone is the one of the Shanhai realm, and the 2 are the Shanhai realm. The Judao is the ninefold of the Shanhai realm. The fighting gas is directly poured into the body without the operation of the internal meridians, which makes the fighting gas very violent. For warming the meat, it is far worse than Junchi. Naturally, in Shoyuan, it will be greatly affected. Unless it is a breakthrough in the Great Realm, fighting spirit will actually cause some damage to the body. Dochi is a cyclone condensate, which brings violent destructive power. Although it is overbearing and destructive, Yu Kanshu seems rough in comparison with the Oriental spirit. I can say that each has its own advantages. But exactly how, we also know after the real war. Frogru is a fighter who cultivates vindictiveness, while Yokris is a magician. The 2 fell just in the same area, and eventually came together, and now they are easy to move, and their minds have begun to breed other ideas. The 2 looked at each other and nodded at the same time. This ticket, do it. The heat in my heart kept rolling. I always followed Yi Tianxing. Qi Yishan walked in the mountain forest, and it seemed that he was looking for a suitable beast to become a mount. Brush. At this moment, suddenly, nearby, a sturdy vine didn't know when it came out, and when it appeared, it was entangled in Yi Tianxing like a snake. To be continued. Chapter 187, Spike. The vine is like a spirit snake, but Yi Tianxing's response is faster. Almost as soon as the vine appeared outside the body, the war spear had been stabbed out, and it was accurately stabbed on the vine's head. Among the war spear, the violent true dragon the air spewed out like a tide, turned into a spear force, and blasted directly into the vine, plus the power of the flesh pouring on the war spear. Pour into the vine. The whole vine is just like being attacked by countless bombs. 1 inch of it is directly exploded, and it instantly collapses into pieces and turns into powder. That picture is scary. A cold blast sounded suddenly behind him. A cross-sword light slashed towards Yi Tianxing's back like a practice. This strike was very fast as lightning, and there was no sign at all, and it was no different from a sneak attack. Even, this was just one time. Sneak attack. Zhe Lu holds a large sword and cut it out with a unique method. Under the sword, a cross-sword light emerges. In Jiangguang, there is a sacred breath. Seems to see the holy light. Fighting skills holy light cross-sword. This sword light seems to completely block the entire space. I'm waiting for you. I thought it was hidden in the dark and kept secretly behind me, wouldn't I know it? I wanted to give you a chance, but I didn't expect to shoot. In this case, go to death. Qi Yishanxing's face didn't have any unexpected color, instead she showed an expression with a long-cherished mind. He had already noticed that someone was following in the dark before, and they kept staring at themselves. They thought they were perfectly hidden, but they didn't know where they were going. That extremely strong eyes, they have already found their tracks, but just want to see what they are going to do, but it is not clear. Now it seems that they still can't hold back their hands. The voice dropped, and the step was wrong, and he naturally turned around and looked at Gru in front of him. I frowned secretly in my heart. Westerners are really brave enough. This is the act of treating themselves as a lamb in the beginning and trying to kill them. Do I really think I am a bully, or do these Western monks feel too good about themselves? Do I think my Eastern monks are a bully? Although the colors of the East and the West are different, even the languages are different. When they meet, they will directly produce an instinctual resistance and hostility. But they are directly displaying this idea, and they see the killer without hesitation. I have no intention of leaving any room for slowing down. Since you want me to die, let you die first. This is the principle of Yi Tian acting. Anyone who kills himself or even makes such a move, there is nothing else. There is only one way to deal with it. Don't be soft, just do it. Kill all enemies, kill all threats. I killed myself and killed myself. He turned around and saw the cross-sword light that Gulug slashed. There was a killing intention in my heart, and the long hair that had grown behind my head was no wind and automatically, not only did not retreat, but greeted the Jiangguang instead. Bang bang bang. Take 3 steps in succession. Each step passed a heavy roar, and each step allowed Yi Tianxing's momentum to soar instantly, the body's vital energy rolled, the flesh and blood was like tide. I raised my hand and raised my spear. Between his arms, the spear waved, the spear turned empty. There was no extra movement, and the war spear blasted out directly towards the cross-sword light, and the position where the war spear was directed was the center position of the cross-sword light. Boom! Ding! The battle spear and the cross-sword light collided together, and the extremely violent destructive force erupted in the sword light. The speed was astonishing. Just like the electric light flint, the sword light contained a strong fighting spirit. At the moment of the collision, it transmitted the violent sword gases about to fall into battle. However, the power contained in the war spear completely exceeded Jian Guang's imagination. The real dragon's breath was swallowed, and even the violent fighting spirit was directly destroyed and defeated. The true dragon chi cultivated by Xuan Yulong Tianjing is unknown than how many times it is overbearing. It is more violent than vindictive, and it is more like waving arms. Along the meridians, there is a steady stream. As soon as he touched, he smashed the cross-sword light. Zan Jiangguang collapsed, exposing the great sword directly. The battle spear collided with the great sword. Zhe Lu's muscles rolled over, and a burst of fighting energy poured into the sword. But at the moment of touching, his face could not help but change on the spot. A strong fear emerged from my heart. He felt as if an ant had hit an elephant. A violent force, crushed directly. In a roar, the big sword collapsed and flew out of the hands of Gru. The war sword cracked at the first time, and at the speed visible to the naked eye, it collapsed directly into small pieces, smashing in all directions. Shoot out. Subsequently, the war spear broke directly into Gru's chest. Do not. Frogru roared unwillingly. But this can't stop the spear's sharp edge. Without even a pause, the spear has forcibly penetrated its body, pierced through the chest with a spear, and the spear tip appeared on the back. Blood blooms like a pimple flower. The violent power swept through every inch of flesh in Glu's body. Everywhere you go, it's crazy. He followed closely, and Gru's burly body was picked directly into the air under the spear. Killed on the spot. At the moment of his death, Gru's body began to turn into a ball of light, like a firework, dissipated instantly, submerged into the void, and disappeared. But Gulug's clothes and other piles of objects were left strangely and landed on the ground. Zhe Lu is dead. A spear was instantly spiked. At the same time as the leap spike, the body's light disappeared, but the original clothing was left. It seemed to be naked. Everything on his body was left behind. This is the protection rule of the martial arts convention. Once dead, the light disappears instantly. But is it all light and smooth? Yi Xingxing had a thought in his mind. Secretly come up with ideas. Gru, you actually killed Gru. You can kill Gru with a spear. How could you have such a powerful strength? Shocked on Yoris's face, he never expected that to happen. With the strength of Gulug, even in the case of a sneak attack, he was killed by a single spear. This is a complete spike, and there is no room for a spike. This is simply terrifying. I was completely beyond his imagination. But Jacris didn't run away immediately, with a wand in his hand. Brush. A huge fireball condensed under the staff, and the fireball passed a violent and fiery atmosphere. Once condensed, it bombarded Yi Tianxing at an amazing speed. At the same time, the staff is waving continuously. Howling wind blade, ice blade. To stab. A round of magic impolitely bombarded past Yi Tianxing. The chi machine delivered in each magic is enough to kill the 3 or 4 monks in Shanghai. Each one contained powerful destructive power, and 5 or 6 magical bombardments came over successively. Afterwards, a royal wind technique fell directly on Jacris himself. Under the power of magic, the volley naturally took off. Turn around and run away into the distance. Look for death. Ji Yishanxing took another step again, with the spear in his hand retracted and waved again. This spear, at the moment of wielding, directly erupted a powerful meaning of martial arts. This is a spear meaning, the true meaning of martial arts. It's just on the verge of metamorphosis, and it seems to be just a step closer. But in the spear, there was a hint of spear. Smashing jade spear method. White jade flawlessly shines in Kyushu. For a moment, I only saw that as the war spear waved out, a war spear suddenly appeared in front of him. The 9 war spears, almost identical, were exactly the same, bursting out of the air. It turned out that several magical bombardments came over. A war spear fell on the fireball, and the fireball exploded instantly. The violent force covered the war spear. The war spear was dim, but passed through the fireball directly from the fireball. The fireball was destroyed, and the spear remained. A battle spear collided with the wind blade collapsed, and the war spear remained. They collided with the ice blade, and the true energy contained in the war spear directly broke the ice blade. The stabbing sprang up, and Yi Tianxing stepped down and stepped into a fan powder. With 9 spears, they broke in an instant and appeared in front of Yoris. Yoris's face changed, and he shouted, "Wind shield!" Resisting from the ring of fire. 2 guardian magics shrouded the body, and a ring of fire appeared outside him. Directly collided with the war spear, a bright light flashed. It was immediately followed that the war spear was destroyed, and the wind shield, resisting the ring of fire, was crushed under the bombardment of the 9-handed war spear. Successive spears fell on Yoris, echoing through his body. The power contained in the war spear drove Yoris's body directly toward the big tree on the side and nailed it stiffly. Blood DC. Fast. Good war spear. Is this the strength of the Eastern monks? An unwilling and terrified roar uttered by Yoris, his body turned into a light spot and disappeared. I disappeared completely. Leap Sekel. I once again made a clean and spiky spear under the war spear. www.novelhall.com, straightforward and merciless. I just want to kill in one hit. This is a complete crush. Western fighting, magic, but that's it. Yi Yishanxing looked at the 2 piles of clothing items falling in front of her, and made a cold laugh in her mouth. However, my mind is not as low as the Western cultivation system as the mouth says. There is also merit in fighting spirit and magic. The power contained in the fighting spirit is very violent and overbearing. It can erupt directly from the flesh without the warming of the meridians. In the same realm as the Eastern monks, the fighting spirit is violent, but it is rough and infuriating. That kind of violent destructive power. Qi is superior, and vigor has its advantages. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. To be continued. Chapter 188, Dimension Space Bag. For subscription recommendations, more capable to support genuine Tiana novel. 2. Yi Tianxing did not deliberately degrade Western monks because he was an Oriental monk. In Eternal Big Six, the realm is the same, and they are all cultivated by the Shanghai realm and the fate of life. Measure your own status and strength. But the different methods of cultivation and the different strengths of cultivation make the combat power change. There is a gap and a comparison of advantages and disadvantages. At least, the fighting spirit is too violent, hurting himself. Yi Tianxing didn't look at the bottom of his eyes. The magician is interesting, he can perform magic in the Sea of God. Moreover, there is more than one magic. However, the power of these magics is much worse than the equivalent life tricks. It's comparable. It's a lot worse than the real magical powers. But being able to condense spells in the Shanghai realm has certain advantages in itself. Quote. Yi Yishanxing thought of the magician again. The magic performed by the puppet magician is only as powerful as the equivalent rune. But victory is, you can use spells at will in the Shanghai realm. In the eyes of ordinary people, this is already a fairy-like means. Anyone who is refined, if used well, mixes all kinds of magic, and can play all kinds of incredible things. To achieve a record that is unimaginable for ordinary people. Although I do not know the mystery of the magician, I have already guessed vaguely that this magic may be condensed in a unique way, as if writing a rune. However, among the monks of the same level, if they fight with the magician, if there is no means, the magician may still have a certain advantage. However, if there are enough runes in the hands, then if you fight, you can't win. Okay. It depends on the strength of each other's talents for battle. Resilience. But if the Oriental monks awakened their lives, they would certainly have a certain advantage. In short, there is no real overwhelming statement that Shu has high or low strength and strong or weak combat strength. Western monks should not belittle them. Eternity 6 is a division of the realm by the Shanghai realm and life and consciousness. There is only one kind of practice system. It can be said that this is a rule formulated by the eternal sixth Tao and even higher levels of will. Whether it is fighting spirit or magic, even Shushan and martial art, all are in this system. Like branches in the system, flowers are allowed to bloom together. These thoughts just turned around quickly in my mind, and then suppressed them. Some things don't need to be studied in depth, just need to know if it is useful to you. Obviously, fighting spirit and magic, Yi Tianxing will never be repaired. But for the enemy, knowing oneself and knowing one another is the only way to survive. I don't know what these 2 stupid men left me in the end, it won't be just 2 clothes. Yi Yishanxing also began to look at Gru, and Yoris fell, and turned away, leaving the remaining loot. I don't know what the rules of this fall after the death of the martial arts arena will be. Was it really whitewashed by the fallen? I didn't hesitate. First, I walked to the place where Gru died. The clothing was not a good thing. It was just normal cloth and normal clothes. It has no special effect, nor is it a powerful armor, or even magic equipment. Is worthless. Qi Yishanxing picked to the side with a war spear at will. Just throw it away. He doesn't have the habit of collecting other people's clothes. Beneath the clothes, as the clothes were torn apart, a pile of items appeared underneath. The first thing that came to my eyes was a contract of animal skin made of some animal skin. There was a flash of foreign light. Amazingly, a pet contract. This is a benefit that every contestant will get. Given by the First World Martial Arts Convention, Yi Tianxing had a copy in his hands, which appeared in his arms when he fell from the air. Can't lie, it seems that the pet contract can be obtained from others through hunting. This is a good thing. The real treasure can make you contract to pets, and the treasure of the mount. Once signed, you will get a most loyal partner. Life and death go hand in hand. No one likes this much treasure. Previously, Yi Tianxing signed the Green Emperor with a pet contract. Naturally, he understood the magic of the contract. Subsequently, several items appeared before his eyes. A silvery white ore, the size of 2 or 3 fists. Glittering silver, exuding mysterious colors. Mithril, the top treasure. You can make all kinds of magic weapons. Magic soldiers can enchant weapons. Inscription runes. It is very hard, and the weight is very light as Hong Mao, tough as dragon scale. Like ice, the low temperature can greatly increase the magic energy of magical spells. For unknown things, Yi Tianxing naturally took out the wordless book, and opened it with the help of the wordless book. The real origin of this ore emerged easily in the heavenly books. It turned out to be mithril, but it is a top treasure that is even more precious and rare than gold. A little bit of integration into weapon magic can make the magic weapon more powerful and enhance the potential of the magic weapon. I did not expect that Lu should have such a big piece. It seems that there are good things in the Western monks. Now, it's my turn. Quote. There was a touch of joy in Yi Yixing's eyes. Without thinking about it, he waved his hand and put this mithril into the space of Lingju and saved it. This is a rare treasure. It's almost impossible to see the outside world until mithril is found. In Western legend, mithril is one of the materials for making artifacts. This kind of material can be used as the top treasure for refining magic. It will not be lost at any time. Furious wind fighting qi, Shen Heijing fighting qigong method, practicing to the extreme, the fighting spirit in the body is as violent as a wind, and can understand the charm of the wind. The quality of the exercises is not low, and the potential is very good. However, Yi Tianxing just flipped around and threw it into the Lingju space. Just looking at it, he didn't even plan to cultivate. The most is to understand the true mystery of vigor. Moreover, staying in the Tibetan scripture hall can also be regarded as a booty, which enriches the exercises and classics in the Tibetan scripture hall. Holy Light Cross Sword, fighting skills, combat skills. Use unique methods to motivate the fighting, and instantly cut out, can burst out the cross sword light, not only powerful attack and kill, but also have a strong defense ability. Cultivation to the extreme can condense the meaning of the Holy Light Sword. It has certain restraint and destructive power for undead and undead. Xuanji Zongpin combat skills. Another classic appeared in the hands, which was the Holy Light Cross Sword cultivated by Galug. The combat skill was not low, and it turned out to be a mid-level combat skill. In combat skills, it is already very good. It seems that this fool really took most of the important items in his hands and dared to kill me, and let you die directly. These techniques and combat skills, I am not polite to smile now. Quote. Yi Yixing whispered a smile on the corner of her mouth. I'm really a good person. Such a stupid person would be better, and the better. He's not too much at all. This is the price they need to pay. Is his own spoils. Yi Tianxing take peace of mind. It's a pity that these are the only things grew left. He then turned and came down to the fallen tree of Chakras. That magic robe is not a magic item, just a normal magic robe. Also throw it away. Then 2 items appeared before him. One piece is simply the staff. A gem was set on the staff, and the light was shining. The whole body flashes. Not an ordinary treasure. Streaming firefly staff. Use oak as the staff material and set the top of the streamer with gemstones to increase the spell and speed up the magic release. Grade. Yellow grade 3 grades. Dimension space bag. Contains a small dimension space, which can store a small amount of items. Refined with dimensional stone as the main material. Contains 3 cubic meters of small space. These 2 items are similar in the wordless heavenly book. Not to mention the stream flying staff, The most interesting thing for Yi Tianxing was the dimension space bag. This is a real space storage treasure. Although the storage space is not large, it can store all kinds of items. I am afraid that the magician will cry to death. If there is a treasure in the dimension space bag, it will definitely be in this space bag. I did not expect a stupid thief with a treasure like the dimension space bag in his hand. The strange treasures bred by the heavens and the earth are storage equipment made by someone. There is a spiritual mark belonging to Chakras on the bag of dimensional space. However, this spiritual imprint was forcibly broken in Yi Tianxing's hands. Did the space in the space bag has been completely open to him? There are so many crystals. Did he find crystals? When you open the space bag, the first pile of crystals appears. Spar is also called magic stone in the West, magic crystal. It is also a resource for spiritual practice. Now in this space bag, thousands of pieces have been found. It is conceivable that there must be a source method for spar. Spar, for Yi Tianxing, is not a non-renewable resource. It has spar veins in itself. It is not afraid that the spar will be insufficient. Forged into eternal coins, it can be continuously recycled. Alas, these are not very attractive to him. But you can also see it. www.novelhall.com. Nice, Chris is not small. Subsequently, several items were found in the space bag. Crystal meditation ideas, a magician's meditation practice, cultivation can open up the sea of magic, condensed magic. Become a magician. You need someone with great mental strength to complete meditation, otherwise it is difficult to get started. Analysis of basic magic, fireball, feng wind blade, bing, ice blade, de groche, wind shield, the ring of resistance. Followed closely, is a book of magic to build the basic model. Each book represents a magic. A spell, contains a model of spell construction. To be continued. Chapter 189, Dao You Help. 1 second little hollow up pointing triangle said section net wonderful novels without pop-ups to read for free. There are more than a dozen of these magic books in the dimension space bag. Each book represents a model for building a spell. In fact, it is the rune structure of the spell. Magic is a Western saying, and in the East, it is magic. It can still be displayed. Can condense. I can say that having these more than a dozen magic books also means that in Xuanwang Town, there will be more than a dozen more magical cultivation methods. Unfortunately, there is no life knife to build the method and the necessary natural treasures. But it can be used directly, and the method of the magician's constant magic model is a method to replace the life knock. Another shortcut, quote. After Yi Tianxing opened it, he immediately understood the construction method of these magics. In fact, these magics are not much different from Fuyu. But the constant magic model inside is a very different method. Can bypass life-saving tricks. Spell models are condensed directly in Shanghai, which can be cast at will, and will never collapse, a true permanent model. It seems that there is no difference between life and magic, but once these models are constant, there is no potential for transformation, even if it is changed, it is very difficult. A fundamental transformation is even more difficult. But there is no doubt that this can be used as a means to enhance combat power when Shanghai realm cannot open up large-scale life-saving tactics on a large scale. A bumper harvest, a bumper harvest. This martial arts conference really came to the right place. At the beginning, there were such amazing gains. These spell books can greatly enrich the collection of the Tibetan sutras. Even if you are interested, you can cultivate spells and enhance them. The overall strength of Xuanwang Town. Quote. There was a thick smile on the face of Yi Tianxing. Later, he found a large number of heavenly treasures in the dimensional space bag. These things are obviously used in magic, even for refining various treasures. Without careful investigation, he turned around and sent all the contents into the Lingju space. But the dimension space bag was not sent in, but was worn directly on the body. I used to have no way. Now that there is a dimension space bag, the existence of the spiritual pearl space cannot be exposed. Until now, he couldn't figure out what the origin of the orb was. He could open up a spiritual bead space, and continue to absorb the material that is beneficial to himself, so that the entire space is constantly growing and transforming. This is obviously not an ordinary treasure. Now there are storage equipment, naturally it is necessary to reduce the probability and possibility of space exposure. If possible, he did not want to let others know about the Lingju space. Now the appearance of the dimension space bag completely solves this worries. At least, the matter of space can have a past that can be evaded and people have other associations. Space is possible. Suddenly, Yi Tianxing shook his nose a few times, his eyes brightened. I walked quickly behind the big tree in front of me and looked closely. Suddenly saw that behind the big tree, there was a small grass. The grass was turquoise green and crystal-like, and it looked very gratifying. There was a faint scent of fragrance, if it was not close, even it's hard to detect. Tongjin Sao. The whole body is turquoise, crystal clear like jade. It has the effect of enhancing the meridian and penetrating the meridian. Taking it when punching the pulse can make it easier to break the meridian and protect the meridian from damage. It is very strange. Alchemy. Good thing, it is a panacea. Quote. After seeing Yi Yixing, he quickly searched with the wordless book, and immediately knew what this green grass was. This was simply an elixir. And it is an elixir that can quickly open the meridian, even warm the meridian, and make the meridian grow rapidly. If it is refined into elixir, it is definitely the coveted treasure for monks who are in the second and third tiers of Shanghai. I didn't hesitate, squatted down, took out the military shovel, and carefully dig the Tongjin grass from the ground. With a moment of thought, he has been sent to Lingtian in Dantian's life. As soon as I entered, it was automatically planted in an open space. From digging to replanting, the process was completely over without even a few breaths. It did not cause any damage to Tongjin Sao, as if it had not been pulled up at all. Moreover, when planted in Lingtian, the huge aura contained in Lingtian immediately made Tongjin grass glow with a greater vitality, and the leaves swayed wildly to convey the vigorous vitality. Obviously, this transplant is not only harmless but also very satisfied with the new breeding ground. One will have the second one, which will be cultivated slowly. Sooner or later, Lingtianjiang can be overgrown with Tongjin grass, allowing Tongjin grass to continue to multiply, and it will not be missing in the future. At that time, as long as Wang Fengxian officially becomes an alchemist, you can start to make Tongjindan. At any time, there will be no shortage of markets. Quote. Yi Yixing secretly rejoiced. This is an unexpected joy, but a rare harvest. It has Dantian's life skills, can cultivate various elixir, and can maximize the value and benefits of Tongjin Sao. This is the most important. After doing this, I did not hesitate to continue to go deep into the forest. The time is only one day, so we must hurry up. Moreover, not every kind of beast encountered is suitable as a mount. Need to be carefully selected. There are also powerful realm concepts. There is only one powerful beast in a certain area. If it is not suitable, you need to go a long distance to find other beasts. Rumble. I continued walking at Yi Tianxing for half an hour. Suddenly, there was a roar in my ears, there was a strong vibration on the ground, and there was a sound of trees breaking directly. The momentum is like a galloping horse. Zenmi, what's the matter, has the beast rioted? Yi Tianxing's face changed. He immediately struck down 5 and divided it by 2. He quickly climbed up from a big tree, stood directly on the crown of the tree, and looked out into the distance. The big trees here are all 4 or 5. The high-rise buildings on each floor are as tall as the canopy, with dense foliage, and they look like green platforms. When you step on it, the field of vision becomes instantly open. Seeing this, my heart couldn't help but feel a little shocked. In the distance, there are a group of apes carrying thick wooden sticks, each of which is 2 or 3 meters tall and 3 or 4 meters tall. There was a strong ferocious air all over and around, the headed was even larger, with a height of 5 meters and fiery red hair, which made people see at first sight as if they saw a red flame. At this moment, in his eyes, the fire was about to spit out, holding a wooden stick made out of no particular tree, first. As soon as I walked, I jumped from one canopy to another. Behind them, a large number of apes rushed forward madly. Strong, with hundreds of apes, it seems that there are apes running on the ground. A suffocation of chi was passed through each eye. Apparently, this group of apes has been thoroughly enraged. In front of the ape, we can see that a young man in a light red robe is carrying a parcel on his back, his feet are oiled, and he moves forward quickly, infusing himself into his feet. The body flew on the canopy. Every time I fell, my feet just slightly touched the leaves, letting my body burst forward. Every time I step a few dozen feet away. Light body exercises are quite good. This man, almost at a glance, can feel an extremely shrewd temperament on his body. 2 eyes thief bright. At first glance it's not stupid. Don't forget to look around when he ran quickly. As soon as Yi Tianxing stood on the tree crown, he immediately fell into his eyes. Immediately, his eyes showed strong excitement, His face was full of ecstasy, and he shouted, "Tao Yu, help!" he said, rushing towards Yi Tianxing's location. When Yi Tianxing heard that monk opened his mouth, he called it Dao Yu, a subconscious tremor in his heart, and a terrible curse emerged in his mind. Fortunately, it was about saving lives, not staying. But even so, Yi Tianxing's face is not good looking. When the monk turned and ran towards himself, the apes were chasing in this direction in a frantic manner, a fierce look, just endless. "Ba, don't come over, I can't save you. You can ask for more." Qi Yishanxing had guessed in his heart that this guy was going to draw trouble to the east and pull himself over as a shield. From the monk's eyes, he could already see that he was definitely not a loyal person, it must be a pit. Talking, www.novelhall.com, without hesitation, turn around and quickly evade in the other direction, and, without any hesitation, quickly ran out to the distance, with the practice of Yi Tianxing, infusing qi into the double in the foot, coupled with a strong physical strength, stepping out at will, the powerful force sends the body forward more than 10 feet away, no less than the real light body exercises. I have a rough and wild atmosphere. I made no secret of my thoughts of distance from that monk. Jaws of the apes, at first glance, are not bad. The inexplicable heat ups him, but he doesn't do it. But the monk apparently didn't mean to give up. He turned around and followed, and shouted, "Tao Yu, you can't help but die. Just help me share it. I will give you a reward. God, great benefit. It will definitely allow you to make great improvements. 1,000 miles a day. My Mr. Hongye, absolutely promise $1,000. Quote. He said in his mouth that his eyes were already extremely excited, and even the speed of running was almost 3 points faster. You lead a large number of apes, obviously you want me to be a shield for you, do you really think I am an idiot? Don't blame me if you chase after me again. Yi Tianxing uttered a politely. Tao Yu, your soul is really too dark. How can my red leaves do this kind of thing? I want to make a difference and make a difference. You must believe in me and trust between people. Mr. Hongye shouted as he chased. To be continued. Chapter 190, Monkey Wine. Shit trust, you've all chased me and brought the ape group to me, and there is a trust in the fart. If you want me to trust, you immediately turn around and run to the side so that I can still believe you. Wu Yishanxing sneered, saying coldly. This kind of mischief is so obvious, do you really think he is blind, and still trust? If you want to tell him trust, that is an idiot. Follow me, don't blame me for being rude. Yi Yishanxing once again gave a cold drink. Don't, Dao Yu, you can't help but die, I want to make a big difference for you. I really don't want to harm you. I have a baby, a real baby. Mr. Hongye shouted loudly, his eyes glowed. Staring at Yi Tianxing, there was no plan to give up chasing Yi Tianxing. What? He chased away from the tree crown and immediately shocked the other monks who fell into the jungle. A Western magician quickly appeared on the tree crown, just in the middle of Yi Tianxing and Mr. Hongye. Then, immediately I saw a large group of apes chasing wildly behind. Those apes, one by one, violent breath, without any kind of good looks, exclaimed in his mouth. I originally wanted to come up and see what was happening, but I didn't expect to encounter the situation at hand. Asshole, Mo-Fa the magician also responded with a cursing sound in his mouth. Then he turned and fled in the other direction. He had heard the sound of a group of beasts running on the ground. Apparently, it was not safe under the tree. Can only run. Oh, Dao Yu, help. Mr. Hongye saw another monk appearing in front of him. Although he was a Western monk, he was also a human. The smile on his face became richer and he yelled openly. When he saw the magician turning to escape, there was one in his hand. The stones, shot out, smashed quickly towards the magician. From the sight of the magician to the shot, not even a breath. I met and shot as fast as lightning without any hesitation. Asshole, that stone contains authenticity. If it doesn't matter, it will definitely fall on the body. In that case, it will definitely not be a good thing. A magic shield has already fallen on itself. The stone hits the magic shield and emits a crisp sound, followed, the stone broke directly into powder, and the magic shield became dim. The magician had to pause for a while performing the magic. Just so little pause. He felt a wind passing by. Mr. Hongye has taken the opportunity to quickly surpass him. While surpassing the past, Mr. Hongye was also interested in turning his head to smile at the magician and saying, "Thank you, Dao Yu." I said, shuttled with the breeze. When the magician tried to escape, it was too late, and a group of angry apes had rushed to the front. Asshole, Asterisk 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 asshole, don't let me meet you again. No matter which magician yelled angrily, but had to wield his staff quickly in the hand, and magic was constantly performed. Fireballs, ice blades, and wind blades, like no money, slammed into the apes. He was very clever, and did not aim at the red ape that was obviously the leader, but instead bombed all the attacks on one of the apes, with powerful destructive power, and drowned an ape in an instant. Shung Shung was smashed into pieces by a lot of magic. Roar! The red ape saw that the anger in his eyes was even more violent, and the wooden stick in his hand was like a red flame, slamming his head fiercely at the magician. Under this stick, any magic shield, wind shield, and other defensive magic are all under this stick, shattered and completely destroyed. The power that broke out in the stick was too horrible and too violent. Boom! With a crisp sound, the magician's head was just like a big watermelon. He was instantly torn apart by a wooden stick and completely broken. He instantly died on the spot, his body turned into a light spot and disappeared. The power of the puppet magician was directly destroyed in front of this furious ape. This process is a hindrance to the apes, but it is only a few short breaths, and it has been completely destroyed. Continue to chase past. Red eyes stared at Mr. Hongye. Tao Yu, please stay away. Mr. Chi Hongye took a moment to glance at the back and saw the magician being directly blasted, immediately causing the power in his body to erupt instantly, and the speed under him was a little faster, shouting towards Yi Tianxing. Go to death. After hearing Yi Yixing's hearing, he saved his mouth for a while, thinking about it, grabbed a flying spear in his backhand, and threw it at Mr. Hongye's uncivilized arm. At that speed, one can only see a flying spear tearing through the void like a shooting star. With the distance between the two, not even a breath, he already appeared in front of Mr. Hongye. No, Dao Yu, you are so unfriendly. Then I give you a gift. When Mr. Hongye saw the oncoming flying spear, he was also frightened directly, but he was not unreliable and did not see how to move. The whole body was instantly moved from the original position to another position, with a wave in his hand. The package on his back was thrown directly towards Yi Tianxing. The force he used was very precise, and the package was thrown straight towards Yi Tianxing. Roar! The apes saw, their eyes were staring at the parcel, and an angry roar came out of their mouths. Every look was furious. Is this the thing that Hongye stole from these apes? Can the entire ape group be offended? The stolen items must not be ordinary treasures, but they were thrown on me. That's mine. Then don't blame me for taking them directly. Let's go. I'll let you steal your chickens. Yi Yixing saw that there was a flash of light in his eyes. Where would he not know? This package must be the source of the angered apes. It is by no means an ordinary treasure. There is no reason not to take such a thing. Anyway, this ape group has already been offended. I'm not afraid to offend again. Nothing hesitated in my mind. As soon as he touched the parcel, he sent it directly into the space of Lingju. The movements are very skillful and smooth. It disappeared as soon as it fell into your hands. Oh, storage equipment. Mr. Tong Hongye saw that his mouth suddenly opened wide, and his thigh was slammed, and he could make such a large package disappear in an instant, and then there was only one possibility of space equipment. He knows things about storage bags and space bags. He didn't have it. If he had, he wouldn't have been hunted down by the apes for so long. I never imagined that a monk who found it casually would have storage equipment on his body. No, these apes are catching up with a smell, and now they are put into the space bag. Those apes can't smell, and this is a big trouble. Hong Yi's face became extremely ugly. Ji Yixing did not hesitate and rushed forward quickly. Sting and jump off the canopy at the first time. After falling to the ground, quickly took out the military shovel, and dug madly towards the ground. The excavated soil was put into the dimension space bag for the first time. When his arms were waving, the speed was too fast, and countless traces of residual images were drawn in front of him. In a blink of an eye, a large pit was dug in the ground, and then he jumped into the pit himself. As soon as I thought, the soil in the dimension space bag was poured out, and the big pit was refilled. In just a few breaths, Yi Tianxing had dug a pit to bury himself. The time of these happenings is in the electro-optic flint. Anyway, Yi Tianxing disappeared directly from under the tree. Rumble. There was a roar on the ground, and a large number of fierce beasts swept across. No one had doubts about the new soil on the ground, and still chased forward with red eyes. No, don't chase me, things are not in my hands. Chasing the wrong person. Tao Yu, you pit me. Mr. Hong Hongyi's screams went away. Obviously, without smelling, Mr. Hongye has become the first target of the ape hunting. The squealing tweet, even Yi Tianxing buried in the ground, could be heard, with unwillingness and remorse. That remorse is absolutely intense. If there is a regret medicine, Mr. Hongye will definitely swallow it. He will never throw the parcel into Yi Tianxing's hands. He has felt that this time it may be a meat bun hitting a dog. I really want to make a wedding dress for others. I hid underground. Yi Tianxing didn't get out immediately. He put his mind in the space of spirit beads and quickly checked what was in the package. Hoist, so many hoists. I opened it and took a look. The package contained a large number of gourds. Although underground is buried in the soil, Yi Tianxing still leaves some space for activity. Not all spaces are completely filled. There can also be areas of activity. I reached out and took out a gourd. After opening it, suddenly, a strong scent of wine rushed straight into the nose. The scent of wine, with a kind of fruity fragrance, has a natural flavor, and the mellow taste of the wine, blended together. The moment you smell, Yi Tianxing felt that every cell in the body was shaking cheerfully, transmitting a strong desire. www.novelhall.com. Gourmet cells are not only touched by dishes, as long as they are imported food and wine, they can cause it. Strong response. When I smell the wine, the desire in the flesh and blood is stronger than when I smell the food made by Lai He. Murmur. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, he could not help secretly swallowing a spit. This is monkey wine, the legendary spirit wine. Yi Tianxing can feel a strong aura in the fragrance of wine. It reminds that Mr. Hongye was hunted down by the ape and made the ape so endless, especially the ape is famous for making wine. Now the spirit wine appears in the gourd. It is not difficult to determine that the gourd in the hand is the monkey wine. Sheng, the legendary wine in the legend. The gourd in my hand is very large. Weigh it, I'm afraid there are 2 or 3 pounds. To be continued. Chapter 191, Li Guang. 1 second little hollow up pointing triangle said section net wonderful novels without pop-ups to read for free. There are 7 gourds in this package. This is equivalent to more than 20 pounds of monkey wine. I felt a little uneasy in my heart, and Yi Tianxing still took out the wordless Tianshu and investigated it seriously. Monkey's wine. It is the spirit monkey in the mountain collecting rare fruits, rare bacteria, spiritual honey, auxiliary fruit, even the lice growing on the monkey, assisting various elixir, fermenting with wine fruit, and finally brewing it as a gift of the ape family, an ordinary race. It cannot be brewed at all, but the monkey wine, as the holy product in the wine, can not only enhance cultivation but also has spirituality which can make people more perfect understanding. Very amazing. Did the record that emerged on the Book of No Words completely confirm the conjecture in my heart? What I hold in my hand is monkey wine, the saint in the legendary wine. The only beautiful spirit wine that can be brewed only in the apes can not only increase cultivation, but also make people have the possibility of enlightenment. The value of this spirit wine is already inestimable. Only one enlightenment can make many powerful men want to pursue it. This monkey wine is so precious. For example, as Mr. Hongye said, this is definitely a great creation. Even Mr. Hongye doesn't know the true difference of this monkey wine. If you know, I'm afraid that you won't let go of death. Where would it be so easily thrown into Yi Tianxing's hands? Drink it now, it's too wasteful. Forcibly swallowed a few saliva, and with great perseverance, the monkey wine in the hand was reclaimed into the space of the spirit beads. The aroma of the wine gradually faded, and even after disappearing, the active food cells in the body fell silent, and even the flesh and blood were felt lamentation. That feeling makes Yi Tianxing really have a plan to take out the monkey wine and take a sip. Alas, in the end this impulse was suppressed. After restoring his state of mind, I even felt that my own mental will seemed to become stronger and was tempered once. Listen to the ground. Kyun, the group of fierce beasts has completely flew to a farther area. Boom. No threat from outside beasts. Yi Tianxing's internal body exploded, and the soil outside him exploded instantly. He stepped at random from the big pit, his body flew out like a shell, and landed on the ground again. The surrounding forest seemed to be dead. Many beasts fled out in fright directly by the apes. A vicious beast must be found as a mount as soon as possible. Yi Yixing secretly decided. The flowers and plants are like spring, and the ancient trees are towering. In the forest, the songbirds spoke. Yi Yixing took the war spear and walked in the forest. Me and Dewey, it was almost half a day before the distance to face the apes before the distance. There was not much time left before the deadline of 1 day. But the beast that is suitable for a contract to mount is still not encountered. There have been many encounters with fierce beasts. There are lone wolf walking alone in the mountains and forests, fierce wild boars, and porcupines as scary as hedgehogs. I have seen all kinds of them, but they are not suitable for mounting. Since it is a selection of mounts, Yi Tianxing still hopes that the one that can be selected is suitable for himself, and the beast that can bring some help to himself, otherwise the contract will not be of great use in the future. Too bad, pet contract is a treasure, waste is too bad. Of course, if you can't find a suitable mount before the time limit is reached, you can only contract casually. Is really no good, the Green Emperor can also be used as a mount. Who said that big dogs can't be mounts? Animal, dare to hurt my friend, I will kill you today. Suddenly, a loud drink sounded in the distance. Ha! A sharp scream rang out in the air. For a moment, you can see that a large taupe eagle hovering in the air, a pair of eyes, sharp, fell on the human body, as if stinging the skin. Even if hovering in the sky, you can see that this big vulture is amazing in size and as big as a penguin. The wings stretched out, nearly 10 meters wide, and the gray feathers were shining with black iron like metallic luster. The roots are like iron swords, and the bird's beak is even sharper. If there are barbs and pecks, flesh and blood will be torn off. At a glance, ordinary people will be shocked. Give birth to fear. Brush. I heard a burst of air. An iron arrow tore through the sky like lightning, shot towards the chest of this big eagle. In the iron arrow, it seems to contain a strong belief that it is indestructible and the arrow is not false, so that any existence, under such an iron arrow, will give birth to the illusion that it is difficult to dodge and cannot be avoided. Good superb archery. Yi Tianxing is proficient in archery. These days, every day, he enters the barracks without any obstacles, practicing archery, and the number of arrows fired every day can already be piled up like a mountain. The skills of arrow path are increasing daily. With strong eyesight, physical strength, and timidity, there is no trembling in the arm when holding the bow. It is very stable. The arrows shot out are extremely accurate. The arrows shot by the puppet were more terrible than the sniper rifle. Xianzai, but now, I find that this arrow is definitely not inferior to the arrow that I shot out, and even beyond the skill, it is only inferior in strength. This is definitely a battle arrow fired by a skilled archer. Under the arrow, there are deadly threats at the level of Shanghai. Ha! A great pride was transmitted from the big eagle, and the pride in his eyes was clearly visible. When he saw the iron arrow burst into the air, he felt the powerful threat passed from the iron arrow, but he did not shrink back. With a fierce bow, the bird's beak pecked down at the iron arrow. Ding! The starling bird's beak is sharp, just like the magic weapon. When it pecks down, it uses the powerful power in the body, all concentrated on the bird's beak. The explosive force and destructive force are extremely overbearing. The bird's beak collided with the iron arrow, and a strong infuriation erupted on the iron arrow. But under the bird's beak, even the infuriating energy was broken and a crisp sound was heard. Crashed out. Brush. Then, the big eagle fluttered a wing, and on the iron wing, a metal-like light shone, and a gust of wind rose flat on the ground, with wind blades in the gust, pulling the screaming wind howling, crazy swept across the ground. Click. The violent wind rolled over, and numerous branches were cut off by Shengsheng, turning them into ruins and willows, leaving Shengsheng in the mountain forest torn apart, and an empty space in the new city. Quickly presented. Yi Yishenxing has re-embarked on the tree crown. At a glance, in the position swept by the wind, it was amazing that a young man in white stepped on the ground, holding a bow in his hand, carrying a pot of battle arrows, a temperament, and an extraordinary cloth skirt. With a sharp touch, the sword in the waist swept down by the wind blade. In the hand, the sword came out of the sheath, the wrist trembled, and the sword was transported like electricity. Ding ding's crisp sound came out of his body. One wind blade was broken, but the power contained in the wind blade caused Jian Guang to continue to shatter, and even the young man was backing off one after another. Besides, there was a woman wearing a red dress, with a good-looking face, a slender figure, and a heroic face. It can be seen that the girl's shoulder has been stained with blood, and a piece of flesh has been cut off stiffly. Sha with a lot of blood loss, his face looked a little pale. I bit my lip, my face was stubborn. He also had a long knife in his hand. Waving and chopping to those wind blades. Lights bloom from the knife. The wind blade was crushed, but the speed and quantity of the wind blade were extremely large, and they gathered together, letting the two people survive. There was a knife on her, but her shoulder was injured and she couldn't use it. Make the double knife unable to fully display. Brother Li, it's my fault on you, leave me alone, you can go. With your strength, even if you can't beat this big eagle, you can definitely save your life. I stay here to fight this beast. The woman was sturdy, and her eyes were resolute, she said loudly. San Niang, you and I have a chance to be strong here, beheading and killing beasts along the way, and supporting them together. How can I Li Guang leave you and escape by myself? Even if I survive, it would be better to die here. I am not will leave you and run away. Quote. Guang Li Guang said categorically, with a firmness in his eyebrows. Obviously, it is impossible to escape alone, even if it is to leave, two people must go together. A stubborn person, as long as his character is not cowardly, even a treacherous and sinister person, will not easily escape in the slaughter, especially if he leaves a friend and escapes by himself. Even if he survives, he will leave a flaw in his heart. At some point, it can have dire consequences. At this moment, a sound of tearing air came from the air again. Zan, a battle arrow burst into the air instantly. On the battle arrow, a layer of golden light flashed. The golden light revealed the sharp edge. Fast as lightning, like the same golden light. The thunderbolt, www.novelhall.com, appeared in front of the big eagle. There was no way that the wind from the great eagle could stop the arrow. Fast arrows, there are scorers who are not inferior to Brother Li. The young girl saw her face with surprise. A very fast arrow. That arrow is not an ordinary arrow. The power contained in it is very strong. The bow and arrow used should also be very powerful. It is not an ordinary bow. The arrow is fast and fierce. It is a master of arrows. Li Guang saw, a burst of strange light burst into his eyes, and excited in his heart, he also said loudly. Such a master is definitely not an ordinary person. Archery is no worse than yourself. Especially that battle arrow, not an ordinary battle arrow. The edge is too strong. Stinging on the crown of the tree, Yi Tianxing had already held a skeleton war bow, and the arrow shot out was a rune arrow, not a bone war arrow. Even so, the power of Fu Jian was instantly revealed. The great eagle owl felt a strong crisis, saw the golden rune arrows, and pecked it down again with its beak. A thick black light shone on the bird's beak. The lightning bolt pecked on the rune and arrow, and made a crisp sound. Then, the big vulture issued a sharp cry, and the entire bird's beak collapsed upward, the body rolled to the side, and the golden rune and arrow still passed over it. A lacerated wound in the abdomen. There is blood dripping. To be continued. Chapter 192, Fighting Eagle. For subscription, close black lens bracket. Under the increase of the skull war bow, plus the vitality, the power of the rune arrows has gathered together, and the trinity has erupted a destructive power. Even the big vulture was shot by a sting. He was torn apart a wound. This great vulture, even in the first-tier fierce beast, is extremely terrifying, at least reaching the level of the first-ranking 6th or 7th grade. The beast is known for its flesh, coupled with feathers, blood, and the existence of a hegemon in the sky. On the ground, even a beast of first rank and 9 grades, it is difficult to cause a deadly threat to it, even to after seeing it, avoid it on the spot. Now he was injured by Yi Tianxing with an arrow. Suddenly, the eyes in his eyes were completely furious, full of coldness. He looked away from Li Guang and fell on Yi Tianxing in one fell swoop. Boo hao, no, that Taoist is afraid that he has already been targeted by this big eagle. This is not a good thing. Li Guang watched the big eagle in the air stained with blood, and looked angry, and immediately said. Very good archery, that big vulture may not be able to come down. As long as you can't get close, the Taoist won't really worry about life. The woman blinked and said flatly. I'm so vengeful and want to kill me, I'm not afraid of you. The great vulture is so strong that I really want to be my mount. At that time, maybe I can win a place in the competition and get a reward. I finally encountered such a great sculpture, which is one of the best objects for a mount. It is not easy to meet a suitable mount in a day. Yi Tianxing definitely does not want to let it go. Don't say that the great eagle hates him, even if he doesn't hate him, he has to take a shot. He must not let it escape from his eyes. When he saw this big vulture, Yi Tianxing had already made up his mind in his heart to conquer it as his own mount. With this magnificent big vulture as a mount, his face was absolutely decent. In a hurry, the mounts that other monks can find are definitely not better than the big eagles in front of them. Cultivation is good, and it will be a big help for myself in the future. The vulture screamed loudly, and suddenly fluttered his head towards Yi Tianxing, and swooped down from midair. A pair of sharp claws were vigorous and exuding a chilling coldness. The world is tearing. At the same time, among the wings, one feather pupa condensed under the body like an iron arrow, accompanied by the wind, and swept out instantly, covering the area where Yi Tianxing was located at once, and the cold light flashing in the feather pupa. Enough to give birth to a strong breath of death. The destructive power that erupted can put the monks in the realm of Shanghai into a desperate place. Yi Yixing has no fear. The archer, needs to have a most powerful mind. Tarzan collapsed in front of him without changing color. Whenever there is a big change, there is stillness. Even when he saw the overwhelming attacks coming on, he still didn't flinch. He instead took out the rune arrows again, this time not 1, but 3 rune arrows. At the same time on the bowstrings, and pulled away instantly, in 3 clear sounds, the runes and arrows burst into the air, blooming a completely different light. Hold a cyan rune, almost astonishing. Hold a red rune with Li Xiao. Lance a blue rune, cold and cold. Blast wind arrow. Flame arrow. Frozen ice arrow. A string of 3 arrows can be said to be as fast as a meteor, and the fastest is the wind arrow. Not only does it contain sharp edges, it is also the lead, 3 rune arrows, each shot in the direction of the 3 major vultures. Ding 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 ding. But this time, I did not shoot directly in front of the big eagle, I saw directly that the feather puffers instantly hit the runes and burst into a huge roar. Although at the beginning, some feather puffers were smashed and defeated by the runes, but those the number of feather pupas swept through, and the 3 runes were drowned completely. I can see the flames of ice in the void. Although smashing some pupa, it did not pose a real threat to the big eagle. Instead, it became a little closer to Yi Tianxing. Come here, I'd like to see how big your big eagle can be. The crickets rushed towards the wind, and the plumes had flickered coldly, clearly visible. Can cut himself into pieces of flesh at any time. Brush. Just at the moment of life and death, I only saw that in Yi Tianxing, a group of divine light emerged suddenly. In the divine light, a pair of armor was suddenly condensed, covering the whole body, and the whole body was dark, like a piece. The black battle suit, worn on the body, not only fits perfectly with the body, but also emits a strange coercion. On the battle armor, you can see that a black dragon is walking and emitting a dragon chant. Shangsha covered all over the body. Fate of life Zanjia. Ding 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 ding. 1 feather bladder was directly chopped on the black armor. Immediately, a bright light burst out on the armor, making a crisp sound. A burst of vitality poured into the armor, and the defense in the armor was urged to the extreme. In Shanghai, there are absolutely few who can break through the armor. Wu Xuanjia's fate, the war armor that it gave birth to, is closely connected with itself, as well as its own practice. It is constantly changing. As long as the armor cannot be broken at one time, the energy in Shanghai will constantly make up for the armor loss. Protecting the whole body, extremely powerful. At this moment, even if the magic light on the armor is changing, it is still not broken, and there is no sign of being broken. A pair of iron claws of Wu Diao grasped Yi Tianxing's head fiercely. That iron claw is enough to grab the whole head together in the iron claw. Humph! Qi Yishanxing uttered a cold hum in his nose, suddenly reached out and clenched his fists, toward the iron claws that swept up, and hit him with an impolite fist. Boom! This fist completely provokes blood in the body, and more than 30,000 kilograms of terrorist power are completely gathered in the fist. On the fist, a layer of divine light flashes, and with the momentum that shakes the sky, it strikes with the iron claws. There was a huge roar, and a big scream came out of the mouth of the big eagle. I never expected that such a terrible power could erupt in Yi Tianxing's body. It felt that the bones, and even the internal organs, were violently shaking. His body flung down, and he was blown into the air by the fist. Not only is it because of the powerful power contained in the fist, but also the idea of the big eagle itself. It is terrible to look at Yi Tianxing with a strong fear. This human body contains such terrible power, blood. Hell, if it weren't for its physical strength, the whole body would be blown. Want to go? Ask me if I don't agree. But Yi Tianxing had already reacted in the first place. The fist that had been blown out did not mean to retract. Instead, he turned his fist into a claw, grabbed it on the iron claw, and allowed himself to be carried into the air by the big eagle. Moreover, as soon as the wrist was forced, the body turned and turned over, and it appeared on the large back of the big eagle. This series of moves, flowing. It was done in an instant. As if in a blink of an eye, Yi Tianxing was already standing on the back of the great eagle. The big eagle was furious on the spot. With his proud character, where could a human be allowed to stand directly on his back? This is simply a shame, a great shame. Huh, there was a flash of madness in the big eagle's eyes, and the fierce flapping wings climbed up to high altitude, and instantly climbed to a height of thousands of feet above the ground. Then, when the wings turned, the body turned directly in midair. The belly is facing the sky, and the back is facing the ground. With this move, Yi Tianxing fell directly from the air and died on the spot. Wow, but its movement is fast, and Yi Tianxing's response is not slow. A black and white yin and yang lock appears in his hand, turning into a chain, and he shakes it off, and the yin and yang lock is directly placed on the neck of the eagle. Both feet were rooted and stuck to the back. Even if the big eagle rolls over and over, there is no way to throw Yi Tianxing out of his body. It would be too naive to try to kill me. Give me down. Yi Yixing sneered and grabbed the yin and yang lock, and suddenly, stepped down on the back of the big eagle. How horrible is the physical strength of Yi Tianxing. This step, casually tens of thousands of pounds of force, fell on the big eagle. Even if it is amazing in strength and powerful, still under this step, a scream of sorrow. The whole body fell down quickly and could not be restrained at all. The cricket kept approaching the ground and fell down. It's great. This combat power is really powerful. The big eagle is afraid that it cannot escape the palm of the Taoist friend. It should be contracted into a mount. It seems that I need to continue to cultivate and strengthen my combat power. Otherwise, it is difficult to keep up with the proud steps of those peers. Li Guang's eyesight was so strong that when he saw the fight in the air, the worry on his face gradually disappeared, and he immediately developed a sense of urgency. He replaced himself, and he asked himself if he couldn't suppress the big eagle to such an extent. Brother Li doesn't need to be envious. I believe that with the gift of Brother Li, as long as he is given time, he can certainly become the most splendid Tianzhao in the Eternal Continent. It will never be inferior to anyone. Xiao Nu, the girl looked into Li Guang's eyes, revealing a gentle color, said slowly. San Niang, don't worry, I'm not discouraged, but can inspire my fighting spirit even more. I'm Li Guang, not weaker than others. Li Guang heard a smile on his face. But, www.novelhall.com, which Taoist friend you want to meet face to face? Thank you personally, I'm afraid it's impossible, and the place where they landed is no longer in this area. With a pity on his face color. With the speeding of the great vulture, has flew too far from the original battlefield. The location where the cricket fell down is no longer the original location. In midair, the great eagle shakes its wings and stays in midair to stop its rapid decline. But as long as there was a move to continue to lift off, Yi Tianxing immediately stepped on his back and fell to the ground with a wailing sound. In the eyes of Wu Dadiao, the breath was breathtaking. I turned my head and pecked at Yi Tianxing. Unfortunately, as long as there was a little movement, Yi Tianxing was kicked on his head immediately. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 193, Noble Blood. Do not accept it. Yi Yixing stepped on the back again, letting the big vulture fall down a long distance again. There was a cold yell in his mouth. The sound penetrated directly into the mind of the great eagle. Huh, the big eagle was furious. No matter what it was, there was no intention to respond. His head was high. An unyielding look. It seems that without giving you a lesson, you will not give in. Ji Yixing didn't say much, once again stepped on the back of the big vulture, and suppressed the big vulture to the ground again. This time, there was no room for the big vulture to slowly turn, and it was pressed to the ground at one time. Boom! The eagle owl, like a scale owl, smashed to the ground. During the fall, there were branches blocking it, but those branches were broken on the spot when they were hit. Showing a broken scene, with branches as a buffer, although the speed of smashing down is fast, but the impact on this big eagle is not great, and did not cause real serious injuries or even injuries. Also want to turn the sky, since I stepped on my back, don't try to turn over. You can't escape. Even if it fell to the ground, Yi Tianxing's feet still seemed to grow on the back of the Diao Diao and did not mean to leave at all. This made the Diao Diao's eyes so angry that he was extremely irritable, but his two claws fell to the ground. It can't move. The power transmitted from Yi Tianxing is too strong, so powerful that it feels like carrying a mountain. However, the big eagle did not yield, and still raised his head high, looking at the sky. There is no meaning of yielding, that proud temperament is still the same. It will not fear power. Yi Yixing did not speak. He continued to put pressure on the big eagle, consuming a little bit of strength in the big eagle and completely dismantled his fighting spirit. Take it down a little bit. Alas, the process seems difficult. This great vulture is so proud. Both feet are standing on the ground, and even both feet are shaking. It cannot be supported by the power transmitted by Yi Tianxing, but his head is still high and never bent. Kneeling down on the ground. When Yi Tianxing saw it, he nodded his head secretly. A great vulture, the power in his body is almost exhausted, but he did not expect to insist on falling to the ground without kneeling. This pride is really innate, is it? Nature is proud, but it is also worthy of respect. Although he wants to subdue it, Yi Tianxing does not intend to completely defeat the pride in his body. He has the spirit and is not a bad thing. He knows self-esteem, only then he knows how to become stronger, and then understands how powerful he is. I really want to be defeated by this kind of heart. After that, I see and say that his future achievements will be greatly reduced and very limited. With your strength, you should have wisdom and spirituality. It is not that you have no brain and can understand what I say. It doesn't matter if you don't understand. If you want to die, I will fulfill you, and you want to live. As long as you promise to become my mount, not only can you survive, you can also get all kinds of elixir and spiritual resources. For you, you can speed up growth and become more powerful. Quote, here is Tian Lan Dan, you have to promise, I have many such elixirs, which can quickly enhance your strength. If you do not agree, then I will use this war spear to poke you directly. Yi Yixing spit out a voice coldly. A snow-white elixir appeared in his hand, and one hand was holding the war spear, which was already pointed at the neck of the great eagle. Obviously, this meaning is already obvious. Either take the elixir and become a mount, or choose to die. Yi Tianxing will not give it a clear death method. There is absolutely no drag. There is no need to humiliate such a proud vulture, even if it is a ferocious beast. The big vulture turned to look at Yi Tianxing, looked at the elixir and war spear in Yi Tianxing's hands, a sharp light flashed in his eyes, and he instinctively felt the murderous power emitted from Yi Tianxing. Disagreement will really jab it to death. And, from that day, I felt a great attraction. It seems that this elixir has great benefits to itself. There was a wonderful impulse from deep in the blood that made it want to swallow the panacea directly. It seems that this elixir can wash and strengthen its blood vessels. That desire emerged from every inch of flesh. One is desire, one is pride, and one is death. Wu Dadiao's wisdom is not low. He stared at Yi Tianxing a few times. Suddenly, he lowered his head slowly. There was a smile on Yi Yixing's face, and the big vulture lowered his head, which was already a manifestation of surrender. There is a temptation of Tian Yandan, and there is a threat of death. Similarly, if his strength cannot suppress the suppression of the big eagle, the great vulture will never surrender easily. A fierce beast will only surrender to the strong. This is also the instinct from the blood. Okay, signed it. Yi Tianxing nodded with a smile, no hesitation, and jumped directly from the vulture. It seems that he is not afraid that the vulture will fly away. In fact, even if the vulture really flew away, he asked himself the moment he flew up, you can kill it on the spot. Moreover, there will be no room for another shot, and it will be born and died instantly. Take out the pet contract. The terms written on the contract are almost the same as those signed by Green Emperor. Yi Yixing has already dripped blood on it and pressed his fingerprint. Snapped. A layer of strange light blooms on the contract. In the light, the big eagle seems to understand the message transmitted in the contract and know the meaning, but still hesitates to hold out his paw and press it on the contract. In a ray of light, the contract naturally turned into two divine lights, which were drilled into Yi Tianxing and the big sculpture. After the completion of the contract, Yi Tianxing immediately felt the strange connection between himself and the big carving, which was wonderful, as if connected by blood. A natural feeling of intimacy is born. Okay, starting today, you are my mount and my spirit beast. Life and death go hand in hand. This Tian Dan is a reward for you. Eat it, you can grow and repair it. The damage you suffered before should be quickly restored. There was a smile on Yi Yixing's face, and a little joy came into her heart. It is definitely a joy to be able to sign such a great sculpture at this time. Wu Dadiao's gaze at Shang Tianxing also softened, and he swallowed the Tian Lan Dan directly with one mouth. Immediately, he saw that a large amount of blood rolled on the big eagle, and a divine light circulated on the feathers. The abdomen wound on his body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye, and even the entire body began to swell. On the feathers, in the dark, there was a hint of gold. Vaguely, a noble gasp passed out. Oh, it seems that the blood of this big vulture is not simple. In Yi Tianxing's eyes, there was a flash of light, and there was a wordless book in his hand. Now that he has become his own mount, how can he not understand it in detail? Open the heavenly script and search it out on the spot. Iron Wing Wind Sculpture. It has a powerful flying speed, which fits the charm of the wind, can guard the wind, use the wind attributes with caution, and wake up in the body, the golden wind. Fate Tianyu. Strong in body, extremely tough in feathers, difficult to break open, amazing defense, sharp iron wings, comparable to the blade of the sword. Contains thin veins of golden winged rock bird. If you have the chance, you can continue to train the blood and let yourself return to ancestry. Has a chance to transform into a golden winged rock. A text appears in front of you. Suddenly in Yi Tianxing's eyes, he felt an inexplicable joy. Looking at the big vulture that digested the body's strength with eyes closed in front of him, he muttered to himself, I did not expect that the contracted mount had a strong blood vein of the golden-winged dapeng bird. Although the blood veins are thin, but if you have the chance to cultivate it vigorously, you may not have a chance to return to your ancestors. Once you become a golden-winged rock, it is really a great deal. This contract is really worthwhile. Quote, what is the golden-winged rock bird, the legendary beast? Jane was born in the same vein as the peacock, and is a close relative of the phoenix. Moreover, the nobility of blood, the extreme cultivation, may not be inferior to the phoenix, or even more powerful. Blue is better than blue. This is a terrible beast that feeds on real dragons. The world's top predator. Golden-winged dapeng, if it can really complete the transformation, it is definitely the most terrible existence in the world. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, the body of this big sculpture contained the blood of the golden-winged dapeng bird. No wonder he is arrogant, this is completely from the nature of blood. Boom! A powerful air machine bloomed from the body of the big sculpture, and then converged and disappeared. In that case, it was clear that the strength had been broken and transformed. Fierce beasts have high and low grades, strength. Once a fierce beast, the sea of blood opened up in the body, in fact, can be regarded as the sea of God, where the blood is gathered, and the blood is gathered. Filling every inch of flesh and blood, their realm breakthrough is very rude and will gather the vortex of blood and blood in the sea of blood. Yu reading book generates a vortex, which is first order and first grade, which can be called fierce beasts and monsters. Once the 9 vortexes of blood are condensed, they are first order 9 pins. Comparable to the 9th weight of Shanghai. What's more, qi and blood condensate, so that the physical body of the ferocious beast is inherently powerful, and the combat power is very powerful. When fighting, it can often erupt an amazing combat power. The big vulture just gathered the 7th vortex of blood, and broke into the first-ranking 7th grade fierce beast. Moreover, the blood in the body seemed to be washed once, leaving a slight golden color in the blood. That is the washing and tempering of the blood veins by the souls of nature. Tian Gang Dan is condensed by the natural qi of the heavens. The masculine yang is pure and pure, which can wash the blood vessels and quench impurities. Inspiring a trace of blood can be said to be a matter of course. Yihu, in the future, you will be called Jinpeng. You have the blood of the golden-winged dapeng bird in your body. Take this name, and hope that one day, you can really help to transform Jinpeng. Travel the sky, become a true ***** bird. Qi Yi Tianxing looked at the big eagle, and after a little groaning, he slowly said. To be continued. Chapter 194, Fire Tree Silver Flower. After signing the contract with the Great Eagle, a mysterious connection has been born. Yi Tianxing can pass his thoughts to the mind of the Great Eagle, and the other party can clearly understand that this is a kind of induction from the divine thought. After hearing Yi Tianxing's words, Diao immediately understood the meaning, and his eyes showed a touch of joy. Being able to have his own name, and still in the name of Jinpeng, this gives it a strong pressure, but also has great motivation and spur. And it loves the name. Shi Jinpeng gave out a loud scream of joy, stretched his head, and pecked gently on Yi Tianxing's arm. Said yes. Zhang then he opened his mouth and bite Yi Tianxing's sleeve again, and pulled it towards his back. This is for me to sit on my back. Ji Yishanxing knew what it meant and immediately stood on Jinpeng's back. In a loud howling, a pair of huge iron wings stretched out, slightly shaken, and a gust of wind rolled up under him. Jinpeng soared directly into the sky. Standing on Jinpeng's back, it instantly climbed to a height of several kilometers. A gust of wind rushed towards the face, but these, for Yi Tianxing, had no impact at all. His feet were like growing on Jinpeng's back. At every turn, the wind was rolled up by the wind, and the black hair was dancing wildly in the back of the head, floating in the air, like a fairy walking on the void and visiting mountains and rivers. I am even more extraordinary under Jinpeng's god. With Jinpeng, the first pass of this martial arts conference, I can pass it steadily, and I have the qualifications to enter the official competition. However, the theme of this martial arts conference is racing. To be sure, this competition, absolutely it will not be an ordinary race. Even horse races will have hurdle obstacles, not to mention the competition between monks. Less than greater than the race should contain unusual obstacles and dangers. Quote, Yi Yixing thought secretly, if you really thought it was a simple race, it would be really naive. The martial arts convention is just a race, how could that be? It's too simple to think about, that is to find death. At that time, I don't know how to die. However, what exactly will be encountered, this point, unless it is to enter the second stage and officially start the game, otherwise it is difficult to guess how to guess. The only thing I can do now is to increase my own combat power as much as possible and increase my vigilance. I don't know where the Green Emperor went, but I'll have to find that guy later, otherwise, maybe there will be a big disaster. That guy is not a fuel-efficient lamp. When Yi Tianxing thought of the Green Emperor, he couldn't help frowning secretly. That guy is definitely the master who is in trouble everywhere, especially the mouth. When he opens his mouth, it's endless, like a machine gun, plus the broken voice, like the crow. No matter who it is, he will not be able to bear it. If he doesn't cause trouble, he won't even believe it. He didn't find it as soon as possible, and didn't know what caused it. I was thinking, Jinpeng gave a loud howl and fixed his eyes. I don't know when, already in front of a cliff-like dangerous peak. As soon as Jinpeng closed his wings, the whole body with Yi Tianxing ran into the cliff. There is a cave. Yi Tianxing did not stop Jinpeng's behavior. He did not believe that Jinpeng would somehow hit a cliff and commit suicide directly. At the moment of approach, he had already seen a huge cave in front of him. Jinpeng can fly in very comfortably. There are weeds covering the edge of the Laoshan cave. You can't detect it without looking carefully. Because the Laoshan cave is built on a cliff, the sun can only shine a little bit to the entrance of the cave, but it is dark inside. Less than greater than. Ordinary people go in, reach out, and can't see their fingers. Jinpeng, this is your home. He jumped from Jinpeng's back, glanced at the cave, and asked in passing. Wu Jinpeng nodded and replied. Then went deep into the cave, and signaled Yi Tianxing to keep up. Oh, what is this? What spirit tree? I walked deep into the cave. Yi Tianxing could not help but make a cry. I only saw that there was a light in the cave, and that light was emitted from a small tree. This little tree is not simple. The whole body is red. There seemed to be a layer of red flame rising from the surface. On the small tree, there were silvery white buds, which did not bloom, but there was also a hint of silvery light flashing. Small trees like this are not ordinary trees at first glance. The fire red tree bears silver white flowers. Is this the legendary fire tree silver flower? Yi Tianxing saw that when he was shocked in his heart, he couldn't help but have a secret idea. Many people have heard of the legend of the beacon tree and silver flowers. In the past, it was used to describe the splendid night scene of colorful lanterns or fireworks. Fireworks in the night, but this is not a fiction, but it really has such a strange tree. It seems that some people have seen it before, so only the strange tree with fire tree and silver flowers spread. Now it seems that this is not fake. Huh. Xuan Jinpeng nodded at Yi Tianxing, stretched out a wing, pointed at the fire tree, and then pointed at Yi Tianxing. That meant that it seemed to give him this fire tree silver flower. Beacon tree silver flower. It grows in a place that contains extremely strong aura, and even a fire walk. It likes to be located in the volcano and magma, drawing the vitality of heaven and earth. Less than greater than growth in the millennium, blossom in the millennium, after blooming, only one breath blooms every year. After one breath, it will turn back into buds, and then wait for the next year to bloom again. In this reincarnation, the flower blooms for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, it will wither. After picking, the buds will be bred again and alternately cycle. The silver flowers are full of trees. Only when the silver flower is in full bloom, it can be picked. This silver flower contains rich aura, can enhance the cultivation, restore the injury, and bring back to life. Contains huge vitality, can be spiritual tea, elixir, alchemy, and wine. Grade the highest grade. In the wordless book, a piece of text emerged in an instant. This is not an ordinary treasure tree. The grade is so high that it can reach the limit of 3,000 years. In particular, to obtain the silver flower, it needs to be completed in a breathing room where it blooms. Otherwise, it will not work. The rarity is better than the heavenly order elixir. The power accumulated in 1 year blooms in one breath. It is not only dazzling, but also contains vigorous vitality, whether it is healing, washing flesh, and training mana. How? What a treasure tree, fire tree silver flower, I did not expect to get here. Good things, really good things. Yi Yishenxing's eyes showed a touch of light, and he took out the engineering shovel. Start digging. The puppet itself has been allowed by Jin Peng. This strain is obviously the spiritual root guarded by Jin Peng. Now I have acknowledged the Lord. Naturally, this spiritual root has no intention to keep it, but to give it to Yi Tianxing. Ding 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 ding. The ground is rocky and very hard, but the engineering shovel filled with air is very sharp. It quickly excavates a block of stone like ordinary soil. In a blink of an eye, the area where the fire tree silver flower grows was dug open, and carefully cleared all the roots. Every time, I am careful, for fear of touching the roots and causing damage. If you have any bad influence, then you won't be able to cry. It is almost impossible to estimate the value of a superb treasure tree, especially nowadays. Okay, let me in. Finally, all the roots and whiskers were cleared out, and with a single thought, the entire fire tree silver flower had been forcibly pulled out of the ground, and was sent to Dantian Mingqiao for the first time and planted in Lingtian. The strong vitality in the Lingtian field has once again made the fire tree silver peanut machine more vigorous. Has taken root in Dantian's life, and has grown up again. No impact at all. Dantian Mingqiao is so amazing, it can plant almost all the heaven and earth elixir between heaven and earth. The more you come to the back, the stronger you become. It's just a pity that now the silver flower of this fire tree hasn't bloomed yet, otherwise, it can be harvested once. But it won't take long. This fire tree silver flower has reached more than 2,000 years. The silver flower must bloom in 1 year. As long as it is in full bloom, in Tiantian's life, Yi Tianxing can pick mature silver at the first time, flower. At this time, he was still waiting. Oh, what is this? I was just transplanting the fire tree silver flower to Dantian Mingqiao, and when I was about to stand up, www.novelhall.com, I subconsciously glanced at the excavated pit, which made me wonder. He only saw that there was a fiery red jade in that big pit. This jade rose to a layer of faint red light, in which a mysterious fiery red texture was outlined. Between the textures, it seems to feel like tiny scales. It is as big as a child's head. The whole body gave off a fiery glow. Yi Tianxing reached out to pick it up, but when he encountered that fiery red jade, a strong burning sensation appeared on his fingers, and it was immediately collected as if it was an electric shock. Looking at his fingers, there were startling fires foam, even a trace of scorch appeared on the skin. At the moment they met, there was a horrible heat blooming from Baoyu. Good flames, even my powerful flesh can't withstand the power of flames blooming in jade. No wonder this place can give birth to a fire tree silver flower, which originally had a precious jade. There was a dip in his eyes. This is definitely not ordinary Baoyu. The power of the flames is too overbearing. Based on his cultivation practice, the physical transformation will not be burned even if he walks around in the ordinary fire. But just touching the piece of fire jade lightly, he was easily burned, but you can imagine how powerful it was. Good thing, this way there is no way for me to give up and get me in. Yi Tianxing is more interested in Huiyu, and it is absolutely impossible to let him give up. To be continued. Chapter 195, Fire Dragon Jade. Today is the last day of 16 years, New Year's Eve, tomorrow is New Year's Day. I wish all brothers and sisters good health and happy holidays. Fortune comes next year. Begging. Close black lens bracket. He struggled and was burned again, and Yi Tianxing still touched his hand directly toward the fiery red gem. Brush. Almost immediately, when I was in my heart, a powerful attraction was transmitted from the Lingju space, and the entire piece of Baoyu was sucked into the Lingju space for a moment and collected. The price paid is a dense fire bubble on the palm of your hand, giving off a scorching smell. Fortunately, the goal was achieved. That piece of fire jade has already appeared in Lingju space. Fire Dragon Baoyu. In the legend, Yanlong was injured, his heart was bloody, spilled on the spirit jade, drew the vitality of the heavens and the earth, and bred tens of thousands of years of age. Touch. It is the top treasure for refining magic properties of fire attributes. Grade the highest grade. Immediately, Yi Tianxing also got this piece of Baoyu's message in Wushu Tianshu. This turned out to be a superb gem of superb level. Moreover, the history is amazing. How could Yanlong's heart's blood be simple? It can be seen by breeding the fire tree silver flower, which is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. I can get such a gem, and sooner or later will come in handy. Good things, really good things. Yi Tianxing's gaze towards Jinpeng also became completely different, and she paid more and more attention to kindness. This is a really good mount, and you will be presented with 2 top treasures at once. This is a great opportunity. At a critical moment, it can bring powerful benefits to yourself. Zo, let's go and find the Green Emperor. I inspected it carefully. After there were no other treasures here, Yi Tianxing patted Jinpeng's head and said with a smile. Huh. With a shriek-like cry, Jinpeng again took Yi Tianxing out of the cave and soared in the sky. However, the height of the flight was not high, and he could see the ground in the void. On the situation. Standing in the sky, Yi Tianxing's congenital yin and yang eyesight were fully exerted. Even if they are several kilometers apart, they can still clearly see everything, including vegetation, ancient trees, mountains, lakes, mountains and clouds, all in their eyes, clear and distinct. Also, in the sky, you can see a monk below fighting with the beast. There are even monks who are fighting each other, especially the Eastern and Western monks. After encountering them, either the Western monks take the shot first, or the Eastern monks take the shot. The differences in skin color, eye pupils, and faces make it easy to have a strong relationship hostility. This hostility, jealousy, appeared in the martial arts meeting, and naturally, it became a ruthless life and death fight. Can't lie, it seems that in this kind of competition, the East and the West have been divided into distinct opponents. Trust is absolutely impossible. At the second level, this contradiction and conflict will only become stronger. It is even more irresistible. When I saw the scenes of killing scenes, Yi Tianxing thought thoughtfully. This point, we must be vigilant, especially if we have experienced a robbery before. It can be imagined that there is no need for mercy when the 2 sides meet. Even if there is no enmity, it will become hostility. There is no way to stop it. Since it can't be stopped, let's go to war. Yi Yixing secretly gave birth to a hint of determination. In the game, not only should you shoot, but you also have the opportunity to start first. Frowning between the eyebrows, a flash of fruit decided. I dare to block his way, then die all the way. Even if it is the West, this is not a world in which the Western nations respected in the old days. Even before the cataclysm, Yi Tianxing hated the faces of Western countries. In particular, a country that has been advertised as the world's police is apparently trying to maintain world peace. East and West friendly, secretly, not only propaganda of the threat of yellow peril. Is a variety of means constantly, bright or dark. Freedom is advertised as a symbol of freedom. Secretly, the East is continuously belittled, saying that such a system is not good, that is undemocratic, how the society is backward, how poor, how ignorant, etc. Many people in the West felt from the beginning that the East is a barren and ignorant place. Moreover, in the bright side, various movies, TV series, and continuous cultural invasion. Let the East appear all kinds of admiration for foreigners, education is good abroad, life is good abroad, the moon is more round abroad, and things imported from abroad are the best. But I do and know. Many things are made in China. They are exported from China. After a circle, they are back again. Immediately, the price rose sharply, earning Chinese people's money, but making Chinese people rush. Even if it has entered the eternal era, there will be a gap between the West and the East. It is very difficult to reconcile. Of course, these are the last words. But Yi Tianxing has no good feelings for the West. Good guy, someone actually chose a pig as a mount. When he was high in the sky, Yi Tianxing suddenly saw that below, someone actually suppressed a huge wild boar and was signing a contract with that big wild boar. It can be seen that the man's face was reluctant and helpless, but he still had to sign a contract. It's not a long time now, and it's almost time. If you can't sign a mount, you will be completely disqualified from the competition. Yeah, even if it is a wild boar, you have to sign. Who is that? And found a heterogeneous rhino. At a glance, the blood is definitely not simple. It is not an ordinary rhino. I later saw a monk riding on a rhinoceros and wandering in the mountains and forests. A relaxed look. In the sky, the field of vision has an absolute advantage in nature. I found it, I was there. His eyes quickly glanced at the quartet, and suddenly, the figure of Green Emperor had been found. The shape of the Emperor Luhuang is too obvious. The hair on the whole body has completely fallen off. Only the green hairs on the limbs look very eye-catching, and it is absolutely impossible to read it wrong. At this moment, in the air, you can clearly see that the Green Emperor is chasing behind a young man and roaring and biting. He is a Western man, dressed as a knight, and has long golden hair, like a sun, and his face is overflowing with unique colors and full of charm. Underneath, there is a white unicorn on his shoulders, which looks like a horse, but there is a unicorn on his head, which is extremely holy. Holding an ancient sword carved in stone in his hand. Lu Green Emperor behind him desperately to catch up. The young man fled frantically in front of him, an expression of fear that could not be avoided. In this process, we can see that on the ground, I don't know when a stone appeared, and almost tripped the unicorn. On the tree, a poisonous snake emerged strangely. Suddenly, a dead wood fell from the side and smashed. Come. A large pit appeared on the ground. All kinds of accidents happen frequently. The young man looked gloomy at the emperor who was chasing behind him. The stone sword in his hand was always going to split towards the Green Emperor, but every time he was about to split out, he stopped and dispelled the thoughts in his heart. Can only chop on the ground, sending out a sword light, so that various obstacles appear on the ground behind, trying to stop the Emperor's pursuit. On the Emperor's body, 2 clear sword marks can still be seen, and the wound is torn. The confrontation seemed to be cut out by this stone sword. The Emperor Luhuang's eyes were about to spit fire. That kind of hatred is really strong. The Green Emperor was actually injured, and he was also split 2 swords. Who is this? He split the Green Emperor 2 swords, I'm afraid there will be no good end. When Yi Tianxing saw it, he couldn't help showing a shock. When the Green Emperor is hit, all kinds of bad luck will happen. Now he has been cut by 2 swords. The consequences must be more serious. When thinking of the picture produced by bad luck, Yi Tianxing couldn't help feeling that blonde young man. Admiration for a while. I was so brave. However, these 2 swords should have been split before, and now they should feel something wrong. Otherwise, the sword light will not be cut off to the Green Emperor. According to Yi Tianxing, the blonde young man, it has begun to be unlucky. Otherwise, how can all sorts of messy things happen to him? Alas, however, how exactly the 2 men confronted each other, but did not know. Ji Yishanxing didn't go down immediately, still standing in the air, watching coldly. Fucking golden retriever, you actually want to kill your grandpa Green Emperor, and the Emperor has tricked you to mess with you, and once you meet, you say that you love dog meat all the time, and you will kill the Emperor when you raise your sword. I won't let you go. You love dog meat, and the Emperor must eat your golden retriever. Quote. Golden retriever, don't run, there must be endless deaths with your grandfather Green Emperor today. If you are a man, you are alone with the Emperor. Are you not as good as the Emperor? The golden retriever is not as good as a dog. Golden retriever, don't let me catch up with you, otherwise, I must bite you. I want to eat you Grandpa Green King, Uncle Dog can tolerate, dog can't tolerate. The Emperor Green Emperor's eyes were all green, staring at the blonde young man in front of him. It was an anxiety that he should be killed in one bite, and all his flesh and blood should be eaten into his stomach. It's no wonder that it would be so angry. After separating from Yi Tianxing before, I fell in the mountain forest, and the Green Emperor also felt as if the fish had entered the sea. www.novelhall.com, very happy, wandering around, and met many monks. After discovering that it can talk, there are all kinds of reactions, some want to catch it, want to contract it into a spirit beast, some are friendly to it, and some are afraid of being a demon. But the Green Emperor did not suffer. He even fought with fierce beasts all around. Its strength also reaches the level of 1st order and 3rd grade. Many beasts stronger than it will have various accidents when they fight with it, and they will be killed by the Emperor. Otherwise, it is a serious injury to escape. I look extremely weird, but the Green Emperor really suffered. Qing Nian, this young man, when he saw the Green Queen, shouted, he loves dog meat most of his life. Without saying a word, holding a sword, he slashed a sword towards the Green Emperor. If it weren't for the golden hoop on the Emperor's neck, a layer of golden light would be emitted, blocking part of it, maybe the neck would be cut off. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 196, Dog Murder. The first change, New Year's Day, the first day of 17 years, ask Jong Baodi, 3 changes today, and 2 chapters at night. Close black lens bracket. I think the Green Emperor has suffered such a big loss since the advent of the Eternal Continent. The anger in the body was detonated on the spot, and the anger burned down immediately, and he immediately launched an attack on the young blonde in front of him. Moreover, a lot of green gas has been entangled in young blondes. Then, immediately, the blonde young man felt wrong. Originally, I wanted to sneeze at the sword on Green Emperor's head. He sneezed inexplicably, twitched his wrist, and slashed on the big tree next to him. He chopped off an ancient tree, and was almost caught by Green Emperor. And, next, there are all kinds of bad luck and all kinds of accidents. Even a fool knows that it is no coincidence. Even if it is an accident, it cannot be so frequent. The blonde young man saw that he could only run on a unicorn. The Green Emperor chased after him, swearing. That broken throat, more terrifying than the crow, got into his ears, as if tortured by 18. Endure, endure, endure. It was really unbearable, and the blonde young man slashed the Green Emperor again. At this moment, all kinds of bad luck, all kinds of disasters, appear one after another, as if becoming a body of doom. Wherever you go, all kinds of disasters, all kinds of doom, accidents, even drinking saliva, you must plug your teeth. Even idiots have guessed that these changes must be related to the Green Emperor. However, this battle could not be fought at all. Immediately after the fight, you will be doomed and all kinds of strange disasters will appear. Therefore, the blonde young man is riding a unicorn decisively and fleeing madly in the distance, trying to get rid of the Green Emperor. This dog, he never wanted to see it again. Listening to the continual cursing sound from the Green Emperor behind him, the young knight was so angry that his lungs were about to explode, but he didn't dare to take any action. He could only wave his sword and interfere with the Green Emperor's pace. Then let the unicorn run forward desperately. The unicorn is faster than the Green Emperor, but various obstacles appear along the way, which seriously hinder its speed. For a time, there was no way to get rid of the Green Emperor. Damn, you are such a bad dog, it's too bullying. Arthur just chopped your 2 swords, there is no need to stab you. If you can speak, you will have wisdom. I will chop you with a sword, is it wrong? But not to the point of endless death. I am willing to compensate you, and everyone will stop. Well water does not violate river water. Otherwise, even if you die, you will be killed together. Arthur turned to look at the Green Wong, shouted. The secret world of the first martial arts convention in this world is not simple. It contains a mysterious power. Even if the original language is inaccessible to each other, here, the other party can understand each other when speaking. The language barrier between East and West does not seem to exist. If you have a baby, if you throw it over, you can show it to my emperor. If it is a baby, my emperor might forgive you. When the emperor heard it, her eyes were green and she shouted loudly. When he put a gold hoop around his neck, he discovered the benefits of magic. Treasure, it won't be too much. Naturally, the more the better. I have a bloodstone here. It is said that after refining, it will have great benefits to the beast of warcraft and enhance cultivation. As long as you agree, I will give you the bloodstone. If you don't, then we will face-to-face birth and death. Quote. Arthur took out a blood-red spar. On the stone, blood was surrounded, and blood lines appeared, and he could feel the extremely pure blood from the inside. It's huge. When the emperor saw it, she immediately developed a longing and smelled the taste of food. Both eyes were glowing green. You keep your promise. Arthur looked at the Green Emperor, waved his hand, and threw the bloodstone toward the Green Emperor. Ding! The Green Emperor grinned, and a green bell appeared on the neck. The bell made a crisp sound, and a layer of light bloomed, and the bloodstone was rolled in unceremoniously and disappeared. This bell is the booty before it. It's still green, it likes it. Give me back. The Green Emperor made a strange cry, and on the gold hoop around his neck, countless mysterious runes flickered, and suddenly a golden light burst into a gold hoop, which covered him in the direction of Arthur. The speed is so fast that people can't react at all, and they seem to be trapped outside. Put Arthur in a gold collar. This is the ability from the gold hoop. After putting on the gold ring, the Green Emperor can have the power of the gold ring. He can use the blood to motivate the gold ring and turn it into a gold ring for imprisonment. It can be turned into a gold ring. It can defend foreign enemies. Golden Circle. According to the legend, when Monkey King Kishan and his master went to Shishan to study the scriptures, in order to guard against monsters coming to rob the monks, he often made a circle around the monks, which was actually the magical power given by the golden hoop. That's the power from the golden hoop. The golden ring issued by the Green Emperor is the same magical power. You dog, you don't talk about credit. Arthur saw that his nose was about to twist, and when he waved his hand, holding the stone sword, he chopped on the golden circle. The runes on the gold circle flickered, but the stone sword was extraordinary. It looked like it was cast from stone. However, on the stone sword, a violent force erupted, as if Mount Tai was pushed down, a sword was split, and the void was shaking. The golden circle was split into countless pieces. Quickly shattered. Even so, there was a pause, the Green Emperor had caught up. Arthur did not continue to escape, turning his body, his eyes were gazing coldly on the Emperor, his face was full of anger. Obviously, the Emperor did not talk about credit, and completely annoyed him. He is no longer ready to escape, and even if the evil dog in front of him is evil, he will directly kill it. Too much hate. If you take advantage of this, there will be a negative move. This is already a face-to-face. It's intolerable. Golden Retriever, what about you, Ben Wongkang, you have the ability to bite me. The Green Emperor stood in front of Arthur, a pair of green eyes narrowed, exuding a cold chill, making people shudder. Feeling a strong malice. Animals, are you looking for death? Do you really think I dare not kill you? Today no one can stop me, even if you are evil, I will still slaughter you into a dog meal. Arthur said coldly. In words, the intention of killing has been revealed. Forced to such an extent by a vicious dog, how strong the killing intention is in the body. Already unstoppable. Howl. In the void, a loud howling sounded, and then, I felt a strong wind descending from the sky, emitting strong pressure. A big vulture. There is someone on the back of this great vulture. Arthur lifted his eyes to the void, and his pupils contracted for a while, and immediately saw that a huge big eagle in the air descended from the sky, and fell directly towards their location. At first glance, the big vulture was not a bad stubble. There was a great deal of pressure from the ventilating machine, but what really surprised him was that there was a slender figure standing on the back of the big vulture. This is not an ordinary ferocious beast, but a mount that has been conquered. Green Emperor. Yi Tianxing stepped on Jin Peng's back, slowly landed on the ground, looked at the Emperor, and shouted openly. His name is Yi, you are here. Help me and kill this golden retriever. He almost killed me. The Green Emperor saw Yi Tianxing and immediately jumped up and shouted. To call the master, you have to keep your mouth open. Don't blame me for reading the hoop spell. You should be very clear about the ability of the golden hoop. You don't want to suffer, so it is best to respect it. Yi Tianxing took a meaningful look at the Emperor's neck. Golden hoop. It turns out that you are the owner of this evil dog. You must give me an account if you are aggressive. As soon as Arthur heard it, he immediately knew that this Green Emperor should be Yi Tianxing's pet spirit beast. The anger ignited by the Emperor in the heart erupted in an instant, and subconsciously asked Yi Tianxing. Do the dogs? Yi Tianxing heard it, frowned slightly, looked at Arthur coldly, and said, even if it's a dog attack. Don't listen to this golden nonsense, it was he who provoked me first. When he came across, he killed me with a sword, and he called his favorite dog meat. It's just bullying dogs too much. As long as you can help me kill this golden retriever, the Emperor will really recognize you as the master and will be loyal to you in the future. There will never be any disagreement. Quote. The Green Emperor gritted his teeth and shouted. Both eyes stared fiercely at Arthur. Well, Green King, this is what you said. I didn't force you. Yi Tianxing looked at Luang with a smile, and said slowly. The evil dog has such a bad character that it is not easy to make it truly surrender. Hearing now, cannot help but give birth to a trace of unexpected joy. Now that it is down, there is no plan to easily let Arthur go. What a bad lord, you Eastern monks are so impolite. Arthur's face became extremely ugly, and he hummed. Howl. Jin Peng issued a loud howl, and his cold eyes stared at Arthur. It seemed that, as soon as an order was given, he would immediately annihilate and kill the enemy in front of him. When, just at the moment of tension, suddenly, a crisp bell rang in the void. In the bell, suddenly, an invisible force appeared again, covering the whole body. Then I involuntarily headed out into the air, www.novelhall.com, a day so soon. Quote. Yi Tianxing frowned slightly, knowing that this was the bell from the first Budo convention in the world. The bell sounded with irreversible majesty. With that power, even a trace of resistance could not be done. The game will be won and lost again. Yi Tianxing looked at Arthur and said calmly. Well, you will surely die in the hands of my Arthur. Arthur responded unabashedly. In a short conversation, the entire body has become streamer. There was a flash of light in front of me, and suddenly, it had appeared in the void, regrouping around that platform. On the platform, 2 eggs, one black and one white, are still very eye-catching. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 197, Space Gate. The second more, there is a chapter later, please. Close black lens bracket. It can be seen that the number of monks appearing in the void has been reduced by half. Obviously, that small half was in the process of searching for a beast before, and encountered various accidents, even the monks, robberies, and so on. Eventually, they fell on the spot and were eliminated. In this elimination, the losses are definitely quite heavy. Once dead, it was sent out cleanly and no ***** were left behind. Except for those treasures that have already recognized the Lord, the treasures collected into the body may remain. Otherwise, there is definitely no benefit. Moreover, almost all of them who appeared in the air were followed by a ferocious beast. These fierce beasts are mounted on strange sides. Any cow, ghost, and zombie came out. Some people caught a sika deer, some caught wild boars, some contracted rhinos, some contracted tigers, some contracted cheetahs, and some huge puppets, including pythons, giant wolves, and dinosaurs. All kinds of people gathered in the void, and instantly sent out a terrible evil. Some fierce beasts met as if they were natural enemies, making a roar. If it were not for their bodies to move, they would be entangled on the spot. Fight for your life. East and West are still clearly separated. Someone got a mount, but no one got a mount. After all, some people have to choose the one that suits their own minds, and some people have not encountered the one that is suitable as a mount. In the end, before the time limit was reached, there was still no contract to fit the mount, leaving empty-handed. This return, seeing a large number of monks around him brought back a ferocious beast mount, his face became unsightly. Is her. Yi Tianxing stood in the void, and suddenly felt a cold biting gaze fell on his body. If that gaze could turn into a sharp arrow, I was afraid that he would pierce his body in an instant. Sen Lang's intention to kill. Turning to look at it, impressively, a woman in a white palace costume looked at it with a stern look and stared at her face. That woman is the woman she encountered in the lake before. The frost on that face was, obviously, anxious for Yi Tianxing to be able to grow his flesh. Kill it quickly. When Yi Tianxing saw her, she couldn't help showing her embarrassment. At that time, I did that kind of thing. Although I didn't make the final step, but the touch and kisses, for a woman, this was already a kind of defilement, and it was impossible to marry another person. Destroying people is like killing parents. Although Yi Tianxing didn't think he was wrong at the time, he still saw it awkwardly now. Without looking at her, she shifted her eyes slightly. Dengxi, I finally found you. I didn't die under those fierce beasts. I will send you back to the West myself. Dare to take advantage of me and invite you to live and live, there will never be in this world. A glance at Yi Tianxing. There was a chilly laugh in my heart. She will never give up. The mount she contracted was extremely strange, and turned out to be a huge butterfly. This butterfly is very beautiful, and a soft moonlight blooms on her body. On the butterfly wings, it seems that you can see a pattern of crescent moon flowing. This is a species of butterfly called moonlight lingdi. Very amazing. Waving it, shaking the wings, it can bloom a layer of faint moonlight in the dark, and bathing in the moonlight can make people recover from injuries and quickly restore the true energy of the body. The flying speed is extremely fast. It is not a fate, it will not let the moonlight spirit butterfly stay. To get such a mount, the chance to invite the moon is not small. Even the organic fate can make the blood veins of the moonlight spirit butterfly metamorphose. Dear friends, said the Black Marshal. Ladies, Xiaosha said with a smile. Welcome everyone to come here again. Presumably many Taoist friends have found their own beast mount. No matter what mount it is, I am here to congratulate everyone and get a mount, a pet. This mount is the best in the world. The martial arts conference provides benefits to everyone. After the race, after leaving the secret, the mount will leave with you and follow you. I hope everyone can treat their mount pets. Xiaoxia said with a smile. This benefit is not wrong at all. Even if it was finally eliminated in the race and fell, you can still get a mount. After the contract is signed, at least in this race, the mount will not fall, and the death will be like a monk, and the light spots will disappear instantly. This kind of welfare is properly in hand. Of course, those who got the mount naturally have the qualifications to enter the official competition. But those who haven't got the mount, then I'm sorry, you have been eliminated. He Shuai said with a cool face, out. Quote. With the voice of the Black Commander. Immediately I saw the flashes of light. Those monks who did not sign a mount within the stipulated time and receive the mount have turned into a glorious light and disappeared. However, unlike the dead, the monks eliminated this time did not have any losses, and all items were kept. Nothing left behind. This is a normal elimination and there is no cost. This time, once again, the number of monks appearing in the void is a little less. Master, I must let the golden retriever die. This guy definitely did not harm my dogs and grandchildren. He must be killed. He must not let the golden retriever get better. The emperor followed Yi Tianxing, in his mouth. Shouting chanting. Eyes stared at the young blonde Arthur nearby. The character of this revenge is definitely deeply rooted. Arthur did not die, the Green Emperor would never give up. Well, the knockouts have all cleared out. All of you here are the participants of the official competition of this martial arts conference. As the exact participants, you are now qualified to know what the prizes of this martial arts conference are. Brother Xiaoxia said with a smile, with a touch of excitement in his words. Naturally, the purpose of participating in the martial arts conference is to benefit the name and benefit. Regarding the prize, no matter which monk it is, they are very much looking forward to it. In today's eternal continent, there are powerful treasures, which are also the basis for standing and strengthening. Brush. Almost at the moment the Sheik brothers' voice fell, everyone's eyes were all focused on the platform. There are 10 prizes this time, but they are only reserved for the top 3. After the 3, there is no reward. The boss of our martial arts conference is God, and it is the first time that it is held. The reward is extremely rich. Name, you can pick 3 out of 10 prizes. The second place can choose 2 out of the remaining 7, and the third place can choose 1 out of the remaining 5 as a prize. Speaking of these lessons or treasures. Big Eye looked handsome, and all wanted to run secretly. I couldn't hide. Quote. He was handsome with envy. Look now, the prize is above. Xiaoxia brother pointed at the platform. I just saw that on the platform, I don't know when, there have been a few more stars, like a meteor, roaming freely on the platform. There are 10 in total, and each star represents a treasure. These 10 stars are wrapped in those 10 treasures. In order to inspire everyone's passion for the game, I will give you a good introduction. Xiaoxia pointed at one of the stars. The star grew instantaneously, blooming a dazzling divine light, appeared in the eyes of every monk, and the treasures contained in it were also clearly visible. This first piece, called the Magic Tower of Jutian Town, is an exotic treasure bred from heaven and earth. It has great potential and is well cultivated to become the top treasure. It has unparalleled power to suppress demons. A piece of magic to the treasure. It contains independent space. For many Taoists who are interested in removing the magic, it is definitely a rare treasure. It is worth having. Quote. It was a golden 9-storied pagoda. It seemed that countless runes were flashing on it, and the sound of the town's magical sky was echoing, which made people feel calm. Many monks have witnessed that their eyes have become fiery. This is a good thing, it is definitely a magic weapon. Once obtained and cultivated, there is a huge increase in and benefit to its own combat power. This is a top-notch treasure that can be cultivated to become the supreme treasure, with great potential. Good thing, if you have this pagoda by your side, your life on the eternal continent will be much better in the future. This is a strange treasure bred by heaven and earth, a born precious embryo. There is an innate confinement in nature, you only need if you continue to integrate into the natural treasures, you can continue to transform and grow with you. Quote. It's really a good baby. The heaven and earth are really amazing. I don't know who will end up in the end. A monk whispered in praise. The second piece is called the Space Door. It is also a treasure of heaven and earth, born of heaven and earth. It has the ability to shuttle time and space, can mark coordinates, and appear in another location from millions of miles away. When cultivated, you can instantly cross millions of miles. Quote. The second star flashed. It was an ancient silver white door, www.novelhall.com, the legendary space door. Once used well, it is enough to reverse the outcome of a war on the battlefield. Good thing, now the eternal continent is full of crises, surrounded by fierce beasts and monsters, surrounded by mountains and rivers, and inconvenient to travel, it is difficult to explore the surrounding environment. If there is a space door, then it is not a problem at all, and it can connect two places. It is no longer necessary to wading through the mountains, encountering various dangers, and will be lost in the air of the beast monster at any time, which will play a huge role in the development of Xuanwang Town. Quote. A light flashed in Yi Tianxing's eyes. If there is a space door in hand, let alone say, it can easily create a development mode with Xuanwang Town as the core, and the entire surrounding area will be changed as a result. Really prosper. It is no longer difficult to communicate with the outside world. Once these things change, the strength of Xuanwang Town will also undergo a fundamental transformation. Good baby, definitely a rare good baby. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 198, 10 different treasures. Third more, seek a floor. Post readers, interested ones can be added. 477123442 VIP group. This space gate Yi Tianxing really wants it, which is equivalent to the legendary portal, the teleportation array, which can connect two distant places, and can instantly span thousands of miles. Not to mention now, it will play a greater role in the future. After all, once Xuanwang Town grows up, it will definitely have other affiliated village towns. Take control of those villages and towns. The most direct way is to shorten the distance between the two cities. Even back and forth only for a moment. In this way, the control of the forces below will become stronger. Saying no, that's false. Among such treasures, none of the treasures previously captured were found. Obviously, although there are thousands of strange treasures to be seized, one's luck is limited. It is impossible for him to get all the good things by himself. That is impossible. Many monks' gazes toward the door of the space are hotter and stronger than the magic tower of Jutian Town. The value of the space door is obviously higher than the former. Okay, look at the third one. Pointing at the third star, Mr. Black pointed out the treasures contained in it. It was a drawing, saying aloud, this is also a drawing of strange treasures, born of heaven and earth, which contains the construction method of the teleportation array. Once the teleportation array is established, the two places can be connected. Naturally, it is fast and convenient. Quote. This drawing also made many monks shine. To build a teleportation array is not a simple matter. It involves space issues. Not only the required materials are very precious, but also the array formation method of the teleportation array is also exquisite. If the array formation method is not good, even if it is completed, the transmission distance will not be long, and this is the problem of the transmission matrix method. This part was born from heaven and earth, and it must be the best in the teleportation array. Although not as good as a space door, it is absolutely priceless. Good thing, if you can't get the space door, you can get the teleportation drawing. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Treasures are all treasures. None of these are just ordinary. However, it is difficult to say if it is available. This fourth piece is called a ghost ship. It is also a strange treasure bred from heaven and earth. It is a ship of dead people bred by countless undeads. The whole body is cast from bones, and the soul is wrapped around it. It can travel underwater and swim on the water. It can even swim in the void. When it is cultivated to the extreme, it can become the supreme treasure. Wherever it goes, hundreds of millions of souls follow, it is a symbol of death. Quote. Brother Dash introduces the fourth treasure. In the light, you can see a white bone ghost ship cast from white bones, and even the sails of the ship, all of which are gray and white. The pattern of skulls emerges on it, which is very infiltrating. At a glance, it was shocking. It seems that people will eat at any time. Chilling. As far as Yi Tianxing is concerned, they all feel a chill coming out of their bones. This ghost ship is very evil. However, if there is a ghost ship, the rivers and seas can be qualified to explore one or two, and now there is no way to build a suitable warship to explore the waters. The ground is already full of beasts and monsters, and the water is afraid equally dangerous. Quote. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. This ghost ship is definitely a good thing when it comes out. As long as it grows up, it must be a big help. It even became a deterrent. The fifth one is an army formation called the 8-door lock gold formation. As long as you have this army formation, any army can directly resist 10 times its enemy, and the stronger the army, the 8-door lock gold array will become more powerful. Quote. This is a different treasure suitable for fighting on the battlefield. The value of this army formation is also inestimable. On the battlefield, it is enough to turn the sky and change the end of a war. A war can change the fate of a dynasty. The value of this army formation is equally priceless. This military formation, even Xiang Yu, showed strong interest. A twinkling of pupil shined. Good thing, if there is such an army, 100,000 troops can kill 1,000,000 enemies. Xiang Yu muttered to himself. Those who are interested in these 8-door locks are also in the minority. The sixth piece, called the Supreme Artifact Map, is a strange treasure bred from heaven and earth. It is said that the Supreme Artifact Map can be used to cast supreme artifacts. It has infinite potential. He Daishui introduced the sixth treasure. A ****** figure shrouded in the air of chaos emerged in the void. This map of God did not make a specific introduction to it. Compared with the previous treasures, this seems a little unusual. Extreme Artifact Map, what is this? Yi Tianxing frowned slightly and groaned secretly. He had no idea about this strange treasure, but obviously, what can be placed here is definitely not a cutaway treasure. This may be the treasure from Tiandao. Obviously, the Black Masters did not intend to continue to introduce this Supreme Artifact Map. After taking it casually, I started to introduce the seventh treasure. This seventh piece is also a good treasure. It is called Baiyang Shanfu. This Shanfu is a good thing. It contains not only various cultivation sites. The time inside is different from the outside time. You can adjust the time difference. One day outside, Xian Fuzhong can cultivate for 10 days, even dozens of days. You can also plant rare elixir. Cultivation, leisure, and integration are definitely the most perfect portable caves. Quote. Now the eternal continent is so dangerous, a ferocious beast may appear during cultivation, and it is necessary to have several hearts. There must be no slackness. There is no way to fully enter the cultivation process, which greatly reduces the cultivation process. But there is a different place in Shanfu. This is a completely safe cultivation place, and even can reverse time. A day can be used as a dozen or even dozens of days. With this kind of baby in it, it is difficult to repair without leaping forward. Many monks heard their eyes lit. This is the real treasure. No one will not desire to have their own cave house. The eighth piece, named Star Mage Tower, is a magic tower conceived by nature. It has infinite potential, can increase magic, can perform various magic experiments, can open stargates, and can greatly increase cultivation. Being able to control the vitality of the area where the Mage Tower is located, the external enemies of hell, and the attack assistants are extremely powerful. It has a great effect on monks. Quote. This one is really a top-notch treasure suitable for Western monks. This is not a magic tower built the day after tomorrow, but a magic tower bred by heaven and earth. In terms of potential, it is inherently better than most magic towers. It even contains a variety of unique capabilities. According to legend, a magician with a mage tower is almost invincible within the range of the magic tower. This strange treasure appeared. Suddenly, many of the Western monks lighted their eyes, and their eyes looking at the magic tower became fiery. The ninth piece, Sacred Wings and Heaven and Earth Treasures. Once acquired, you can obtain a pair of sacred wings, which can soar in the void and swim in the sky as desired. Moreover, it can continue to transform and promote, and also has the highest potential. Possibility. Feathers have all kinds of magical abilities, they can increase, and they can be turned into magic weapons. They have powerful combat power. Quote. Subsequently, a pair of golden wings appeared in the void, and the wings looked like a strong sacred breath. All external evils seemed to be difficult to approach. As soon as they appeared, they would be completely purified and contained powerful power. Once refined, the increase in its own combat power is bound to be quite amazing. The 10th piece, the Holy Grail of Darkness. The heaven and earth are different treasures. Each day they can give birth to a cup of holy blood. The holy blood contains powerful energy. After taking refining, you can quickly strengthen your cultivation and have powerful combat power. Brother Xiaosha also spoke to introduce the 10th treasure. This one is just a blood-red holy grail. Very bright, that's the color of blood. It bears countless ancient textures, interwoven into a variety of mysterious patterns. This one also made Western monks very tempted. Treasures that can be repaired, no matter where they are placed, are treasures that make people want to break their heads. Judean Town Magic Tower, Space Gate, 8-door lock Golden Array, Star Mage Tower, Sacred Wings, Dark Holy Grail, Supreme Artifact Map, Teleport Array Map. Ares Fairy House, Ghost Ship, full of 10 different treasures. Yi Tianxing asked himself, of these 10 different treasures, they definitely belong to the top level. Nothing is simple, all good things. It seems that I really have to work hard this time. Yu Kan Shu. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and muttered to himself. There was a touch of dignity and warfare in his eyes. For these treasures, no matter what, you must do your best to catch up. Even if you really lose in the end, you can be ashamed, and you won't regret it later. If you don't even fight, you won't even regret it. No chance. Being a human being is not worthy of others, at least you must be worthy of yourself. Look around the void. Many monks can't help exhaling a few rough breaths. There was a strong sense of war in his eyes. Obviously, they were really stimulated by these babies, and each one inspired a strong fighting spirit. It can be imagined that the next game will definitely be quite tragic. No one abandons the treasure in front of him. Even if you get one, it's enough for these babies to let them go desperately. Moreover, death here is not really death, so why dare not fight for it? Hee. How about seeing these babies? Have you already worked hard and aggressive, and have enough motivation to play? Xiaoxia brother blinked with a smile and said, of course, this is all about this game. What the audience would most like to see, I hope you can bring a wonderful game to many powers, maybe, to make them feel happy. There will be additional benefits. Quote. Now, the audience is invited, and the heavens will come. Hai Shuai Cool Handsome shouted. This shout was like a signal. I only saw a storm changing in the sky. Countless clouds are rolling, and in the vain sky, it seems that I don't know when a variety of divine thoughts will appear, turning into a pair of eyes, staring towards the whole secret. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 199, 3 Disasters and 9 Difficulties. There are matches, naturally there are spectators. The spectators are countless powers in the entire eternal continent. At the first time, they feel the invitation from heaven and earth. Divine thoughts appear in the mystery and appear in the void. They silently watch the entire competition. They will witness the first martial arts in person. The conduct of the conference. Witness the choice of the first championship, the world first in this racing theme. Yi Tianxing looked up at the void. Vaguely, it seems that a pair of invisible eyes can be seen in the void staring coldly, densely. It makes people feel that there is even a chilling illusion. In the eternal continent, I do not know how much power there is, but at the same time appeared at this moment, converging in the mystery, watching the entire game. This made many monks feel a strong excitement. This excitement makes the blood in the body begin to boil. As long as you show your own style in the game, it is tantamount to falling into the eyes of those powerful people. Even if it is not good now, they will remember that there will be countless benefits in the future. To say the least, the quartet has become famous on the entire eternal continent. This is a great opportunity to show up. The monks also need to be named, especially those who established the villages of influence. As long as they can be famous in this competition, it is tantamount to having a certain reputation throughout the eternal continent. This reputation is a kind of fame. It seems nothing, but it can be very useful at critical moments, such as recruiting talent. Conquer the hearts of the people. Ask those talented people to choose among a prestigious and obscure person, and it goes without saying that the chance of choosing a prestigious person is the greatest. In general, who would choose to remain obscure? That's the benefit of fame. During the Three Kingdoms period, Liu Bei was able to gather a large number of Nenshin and generals. Inside it played the most important role, not otherwise, but also Liu Bei's own prestige. First, he used his identity as the emperor of the Han dynasty to make himself a relative of the Liu family. His name was Corporal Lixian and so on. Let your reputation spread. Natural. Gain a large number of loyalty of Nenshin and generals. Make a big piece of the foundation. If there is no name of the clan of Liu's clan, the people in the world will ignore him. Green Emperor, give me a good performance this time. During the game, show me your nature and bite it hard. I promise you, if you have the chance, I will help you kill Arthur. Give you a bad breath. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said to the Green Emperor beside him. Rest assured, master, as long as you help me avenge and kill the golden retriever, what you say is what you want. I want to bite whoever the emperor bites, so big, I haven't suffered such a big loss. With my green emperor, there will be no golden retriever. Quote. The green emperor looked like a pear. Apparently, he hated Arthur's bones. There is a chance that it will never be missed. Well, you friends, the prizes are now in front of everyone, and the excitement given to everyone is enough, and the audience also has. Under the witness of the power of the heavens, who can win the first, who you will be famous for the eternal continent. The benefits to everyone are inestimable. I hope everyone will try their best to run forward in the competition. Run forward regardless of everything. Quote. He shouted loudly, let everyone know the upcoming track, everyone please look at it. Shaosha brother pointed at the following. I only saw that the fog rolled below and dispersed instantly, but not all of it dissipated, but a large area emerged, as if an airplane passed through the clouds and a cloud path was directly branched out of it. People just can see the anti-separated part below. This cloud road that appears before us is obviously the track this time. Except for the track, all other positions are shrouded in a layer of fog. Even the ground can't be seen clearly. It is completely shrouded in fog and can't see at all. The width of this track is not small. It's about 3 to 4 kilometers wide. Enough to accommodate all the monks side by side, more than enough. But this is different from the ordinary track. Without any cleanup. At the front, you can see that it is a large mountain forest, and the dense jungle is covered by the ground. It is a complete virgin forest. You can see the lake and the towering peaks. There are rivers that cross the earth. There are also large grasslands. Green grass. Yi Tianxing even saw the sea. I don't know how long this track is, and in many places it is shrouded in mist. It looks as if it's going from the horizon to the sea. Dear friends, you must have seen the following situation. This one without fog is the real track of this race. Everyone starts from the starting point and reaches the end smoothly. In the process, there are 3 disasters and 9 difficulties. In addition, there are all kinds of traps, good and bad, whether you can reach the finish line. There are a total of 18,000 miles. The successful completion of the game depends on your own strength. I hope you will shine in the game. Quote. Shaosha brother laughed. The length of the 18,000-mile track is incredible. In modern times, even if the road is unobstructed, the full-speed highway runs at a constant speed of 120 kilometers per hour, it will take more than 70 hours of non-stop driving for 3 days and nights. One can imagine how long this distance is. In such a long track, there are many disasters and countless traps. Such a race is no longer a difficult word to say. This is to run with life. Of course, our game has a high degree of freedom. As long as we don't leave the scope of the track, all actions are free. There are no rules. The only rule is that we must be on the track. As long as we are on the track, do anything, everything is allowed. Even if you stand on the spot and no longer run forward, there will still be no problem. Only the prize will be missed. Quote. Here, strength is not absolute, and luck is not invincible. Good luck for everyone. Now, I will send everyone to the starting point of the track. The black commander said coldly. As soon as I waved my hand, I saw that in the void, everyone was shrouded in the light of God, and then disappeared quickly. Yi Tianxing only felt that the scenery in front of him had changed and he had stepped on the ground again. It's grass. There was a meadow all around, a monk appeared here at the same time, and a golden marking line was already in front. Obviously, this is the starting point. Behind it is the fog, which cannot be evaded. The fog is all around, and nothing can be seen. In front of it is a mountain forest. There is a mountain peak blocking the view. No further areas can be seen. In the air, a kind of killing air has begun to pervade. A pair of eyes looked around with dread. Immediately after seeing the surrounding scenes, the first action was to immediately step on his mount. Just waiting for the start of the game, they will rush out the first time. Yi Tianxing also stood on Jin Peng's back for the first time. Around him, the Green Emperor had grinned and ready to go, but his eyes were constantly looking for Arthur's figure. Dear friends, please prepare, the world's first martial arts conference, the theme of the first conference racing. Now, officially started, Shaosha brother cried out. At the same time, I don't know when the jade bell appeared and I knocked it hard. There was a crisp bell. The ringing of the bell also represented the whole game, and the official start of the first martial arts conference finally kicked off. Set off. The championship belongs to me. Unicorn, run for me. Your speed is unparalleled. Pork, run for me. A roar rang out in the arena. Among the monks, they are extremely eye-catching. Many people gave him a subconscious glance. It was a man wearing a common robe, but he looked extraordinary. He had a majestic air, and it was a confident and determined look. Riding a wild boar with red hair underneath. The tusks are sharp and cold. It's huge, 2 or 3 meters tall, and looks like a giant. Riding on it looks really awesome. But riding a pig, this name is obviously not good looking. However, running quickly, the wild boar with red eyes rushed forward. That speed, very quickly, like the same red light, it has already rushed out. Dear distinguished viewers, I am a handsome brother. I'm black. Today, the two of us will explain this game for everyone. Xiaoxia said. This competition can be said to be a gathering of elites. All of us who came here are proud of one of the eternal continents. Each is a hero, He Shuai said. Look, good guy, www.novelhall.com, someone has already rushed out. The first one who opened the bubble turned out to be a flame fire dragon pig. The owner of this flame fire dragon pig is Zhu Yuanzhong and Zhu Daoyu. Before he charged, just like the same red flame, Xiaoxia brother shouted loudly. Immediately in my mouth was a thunderous introduction. At this time, this flame fire dragon pig should be praised. Don't think that I am a cut pig, I am an assault pig. Now it is a horse first, it should not be a pig first. He Shuai also shouted in a fierce tone. Haha, someone took off and wanted to fly to the sky. Side by side with the sun. However, I'm afraid they will be disappointed. On this track, there is no high score. There is a ban on it and it can only fly to 30 meters. Altitude, this height, even if it is a flying mount, be careful. It will be beaten down by other monks at any time. Of course, if you continue to fly upwards, it is okay. It depends on the test that the flying mount can withstand. And, don't forget, this is a race, it is better to reach the destination first. Quote. Xiaoxia brother also shouted with a smile. No, there is a ban on airspace and flying is not high. Yi Tianxing also flew into the sky the first time. Chapter 200. Fire Dragon Pig. For subscription recommendations, some come with one. Close black lens bracket. I originally wanted to fly high, but just ascended, it was less than 30 meters, and I felt that the void above seemed to contain terrible pressure. If it was suppressed like a mountain, as long as it exceeded 30 meters, there would be a wave of strength as exerted on the body. Under that force, let alone continue to lift off, even normal flight, it is extremely difficult. It can only be 30 meters high. This height is really not high. For ordinary people, it must be very high, but for the monks, this range can be chopped into the body by any sword light. Not to mention those fierce beast mounts, some of which bouncing powerfully, can jump to altitudes of tens of meters in an instant. Various magical powers, the height and distance of this area are not a problem at all. The key point is that Jinpeng's original advantage will not be much left without flying to high altitude, and the speed will also be affected. This situation is not good news for monks who have flying mounts. Is there no limit? Can I play freely? Why is there a ban and a ban? Some monks asked unwillingly. Of course, there are no restrictions. Flying mounts naturally fly. The competition does not limit the role of flying mounts. Of course, if you want, you can try to fly a little higher. In this secret situation, originally, flying was not allowed. The boss is willing to fly to a height of 30 meters. Quote. The black commander said coldly. Then I'll fly up and try. A monk contracted to a huge vulture and climbed directly into the sky. It seemed that the prohibition in the void had really disappeared, and the height exceeded 30 meters in an instant. Rumble. But after more than 30 meters, the monk felt a death-like sensation. A flash of lightning flashed out in the void without warning. The monk was covered in thunder lightning at once, and the void became a sea of thunder. No, how could it be like this? The monk had no time to make a loud shout, and was completely drowned by thunder sea. Among the numerous roars, the entire body and even the vultures beneath it were blasted into pieces. After death, items began to fall towards the ground. Clean out. Seeing no, this is the end of the height of more than 30 meters, there is a ban on the sky, this is for your good, this game, there is no limit, everyone can play freely. Brother Xiaoxia said loudly, this is the proof brought by the life of a monk. At a height of 30 meters, it is the restricted area. Whoever enters is dead, unless he asks himself to resist the thunder bombers and not die. Although restricted by high altitude, There is no doubt that flying mounts in the sky still occupy a great advantage. There is no need to be limited or obstructed by the terrain of the ground. This has great advantages. But the beasts on the ground are not vegetarian either. What's more, it's not just about running. There are no rules, no rules. This means that this game will be extremely fierce. Look at it, although Zhu Yuanzhang's flaming fire dragon and pig are charging at an alarming rate at the beginning and grab the first place at the first time, other monks are not to be outdone. Look at it, a marksman is pulling an arrow at Zhu Yuanzhang. It was shot towards Zhu Yuanzhang's throat, but the wild boar seemed to feel the danger and jumped forward. Oops, hit the pigs *******. Quote. Brother Chia shouted loudly, his voice seemed unusually alarmed. This marksman is called Zebei. He has a great archery skill. He walks through Yang in hundreds of steps. The power contained in the arrow can break the defense of the wild boar. Now we can see that an arrow is running on the buttocks of the flaming fire dragon pig. The commander also excitedly explained. The Mongolian archer, dare to shoot me, try my thunderbolt. Zhu Yuanzhang's anger appeared on his face, and he turned to look at Zebei. The boar was shot under him, the speed was affected, and Zebei was riding a snow-white snow wolf, very tall, no different from a war horse, running fast, and had begun to chase towards Zhu Yuanzhang past. Zhu Yuanzhang took out a crimson-red bead in his hand and smashed it towards Zebei. When Zebei's face changed, she didn't think it was a good thing. She didn't even think about it. She pulled a bow and fired an arrow, and a sharp arrow shot towards the bead halfway through. Rumble. In a fierce roar, I only saw that the thunderfire flashed, and the thunderbolt exploded instantly, turning into a thunderbolt, and the horrible destructive force swept across Zebei. Fortunately, the snow wolf under Zebei was very agile. The reaction speed is extremely fast, instinctively avoiding the side in the first time. But the speed also decreased. Look at it, it's Shang Yu. He contracted a T-Rex, and this T-Rex was really fierce, running at an amazing speed, and full of domineering. This T-Rex contained the blood of a dragon. The speed of the attack was amazing. In front of him is a Western monk. He is holding a cavalier gun. Shang Yu is fast and has caught up. Quote. Xian Yu has shot, and the tiger's head and dragon halberd in his hand have been waved. Western monks are not to be outdone, they want to fight back. Oh, that Western knight's cup has been crushed. Brother Xiaoxi's eyes brightened, he suddenly looked at an area of the playing field and shouted loudly. I only saw that Shang Yu was riding a fierce Tyrannosaurus Rex, like an ancient overlord, who ran straight and smashed directly in front of a Western knight. A halberd stabbed the Western knight through his chest, and his body was overbearing by the war halberd. Strength, torn into pieces. Moreover, the mount under him was smashed directly by Tyrannosaurus with his head. That picture is full of shock. Really domineering side leakage. Stop in front of me, then die. The prize is mine. A magician's eyes flashed, staring at an Eastern monk in front of the insect disaster, waving his staff unceremoniously. Every magic came out. Greasy, ground trap. Under the monk in front, there was an extremely greasy oil path. The horse stepped on it and began to slip on the spot. Also, at the position where it slipped out, a big pit appeared strangely. Under the high-speed running, it was too late to react, and the entire body fell into the big pit with the mount. Immediately afterwards, there were several Renju fireballs bombarded on the body. Wounded badly, he vomited blood and fell into the pit. With regard to the use of magic, it has reached a point of contingency. A few magics seem inconspicuous, but when they are matched with each other, they have an amazing effect. All kinds of battles became fierce at the beginning of the game. A famous monk, out one after another. Jinpeng, approaching the Western monks. The game will not end in a short time. The disaster will not be a joke. There are still too many people in this game. You must first clear the field. Let us go to trouble the Western monks first. Rather than attack the Western monks, it's better to attack the Western monks first. Quote. Yi Tianxing has already seen a fierce confrontation in the air from the beginning. All kinds of combat skills, magic weapons, and falcons were thrown out. Entered into chaos in an instant. Secretly said in his heart, the initial chaos is inevitable. This is the process of clearing the field. The strong will not compete with the weak. This is one of the most chaotic and dangerous moments. Yi Tianxing was afraid of challenges, but he didn't want to consume too much in the Eastern monks. My emperor supports you, let's kill the weird Western monks. The Green Emperor's eyes lighted up, and he had been slaughtered towards the area where the Western monks were. Howl. Jin Peng's eyes were sharp, and Yi Tianxing quickly appeared over the Western monks. At this time, there is nothing better than archery. The battle spear in Yi Tianxing's hand disappeared, replaced by a skeleton war bow held in his hand, and a rune has appeared on the bowstring. The bow was pulled open, and the vitality was naturally infused into the rune. Ha! A crisp tear came from the air. As a Western monk moved his ear, he keenly sensed the breath of death, turned his head sharply and looked at the sky behind him, and at a glance he saw Yi Tianxing, standing in midair, holding a skeleton war bow, and his pupils contracted sharply. Asshole, I won't let you go. The Western monk's face was fierce, and the speed of the runes was too fast. It was too late to dodge. A gun suddenly appeared in his hand, a magic hand with a magic pattern. Bang bang, pull the trigger, 3 shots in a row toward Yi Tianxing and Jin Peng. 3 bullets shot from the trajectory instantly. What flickered on the bullet was not the light of gunpowder, but a magic light like magic weapon, which was 3 golden bullets. On the bullet, you can even see the golden texture flashing. Let the bullets emit an astonishing sharpness. The speed of the bullet is extremely fast, and it is not under the arrow of infuriating war. Ding ding ding, Yi Tianxing's eyes were frozen, when he saw the handle, gun. My heart couldn't help but secretly startled, but I didn't have any fear on my face. I didn't stop in my hands, shooting 3 arrows in succession, and each arrow was like a shooting star every month. All the shots were golden runes. Bullets and runes, www.novelhall.com, collided with each other in a precise way in the air, and the picture was as accurate as a maneuver. Bullets are armor-piercing bullets. Runes are armor-piercing arrows. The two collided. Instantly, a golden spark burst into the air. The collision of power made the sound of the collision very sharp and sharp. Then, you saw that the 3 armor-piercing shells started to deform in the air. Twisted by a horrible force, the impact crashed out and flew to the side. The golden light on the rune arrows was dim, but it still flew forward, but the direction of the fly had changed during the impact. The two collided, and the armor-piercing arrows won the battle. Puff, and a rune in front had been politely shot through the monk's heart. A blood hole appeared in the chest. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis.